Greetings, boys and girls. How's the audio sound? Oh, let me pull it up on my phone so I can see the viewers. Toast, toast, toast. Anybody hear me? Anybody in there? Oh. Damn, Nightbot went straight to the donation page, dude. It's fucking here to work, alright.
Yeah,
I've been live
funny.
30 seconds, so. Alright. Okay.
Oh, I love you can see the dog bed behind me. Oh well.
Oh, you can barely see it. You have to like really focus on it, so.
Yeah, it's not really.
Okay.
Perfect.
Alright, anybody in the chat? Anybody?
So we have like shared out too.
Oh, there's Big Red. What's up, Big Red? How's it going, man? Can you hear us
Oh,
okay?
El Rojo Mayor.
Can hear you. What up? How's Duralath sound? He's taking it from his phone, so just want to make sure it sounds good.
Yeah, like I've got a headset on. Well, like I've got like earbuds on and I'm outside, so I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys. Like,
Oh, no,
this is not
you're
how
fine. You're fine, man.
Yeah.
So,
We have no production ability
I know,
or
right?
expectations whatsoever. So you're
Hey,
above.
listen,
All
you
right.
guys don't. Then I appreciate that, but I'm like, damn it, I really wanted to take this with like at home with like my actual setup, but you know, like, we're third strikers. We do what we can.
Yep. We just make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Audio sound good for everybody? Everybody sounds good. Lance, you want to do a test? Oh, my dog just came in. Okay, so that's cool. Hey, buddy. Come here, dude.
You said
Nice.
Come here, bud.
Test.
Come here. Oh, shit, what's up?
Oh.
Oh.
See, I also wanted to do that on stream too. Bring my dogs on there and be like, hey guys.
He's a Dudley player, dude. He just jumps, man. Dart shot.
Swear to God.
Dart shot.
Dart shot. Tiny pond.
All right, bud. Get on out. Okay. All right, we're good. Looks like everything's good. Big Red says audio's good. So, Lance, you're amazing at doing the intros. If you want to do the intro, kick us off real quick.
Absolutely. Welcome to the Lance and Ray podcast with special guest Duralath from California.
From California, that's it.
Duralath.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it, Lance. Oh my God, dude! I top Alex player, one of the holy trinity of Alexes in the U.S. in my opinion. So you, Rennick, hold that. One of the remaining Alex players who stuck it out, and Jazzy finalist coming back from Jazzy just now. So, but yeah, just Duralath from California. We'll just go with that. So.
That was all implied. That was just unstated but expected. So.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
So how are you doing? You just got back from Jazzy, right?
Yes, I got back yesterday and was able to I got some rest finally. Still feeling the I want to play because everybody there, say every Jazzy and just like every big tournament where everybody gets together. It's always like, damn, I want to play more. Like I wish we could play like together more often, especially offline because cab is superior to everything else. But it just makes me hungry. It's like, damn, I want to get to the next one. I'm like praying, hoping that things work properly without like any like crazy like sell my soul to the devil type shit. But no, other than that, like it's just been very refreshing and very fun.
Yeah, and fresh off the weekend for Jazzy, let's just go right into it, man. How was the weekend this year? I've been several years. This is the first year I couldn't make it. How was the atmosphere this year? How was the cabs? Like, kind of walk me through the whole weekend.
So like the population for this year's Jazzy was a little smaller. Like like your absence along with a lot of other people, it was felt. But everybody who was there held it down as far as like keeping the spirit alive, and obviously everybody had a great time. The cabs are cabs. Sometimes they're they are hit or miss, but overall like everything felt fun. Like I think personally for me, it felt weird being a finalist because I'm so used to having to qualify every year. We're trying to like go through LCQ. only to fall 1 round short. So that's been that's been the goddamn story of my jazzy career here. But so getting in on Saturday and then getting to watch everybody play and then kind of fight through and seeing it on the other side was jarring at first, but I was like, damn, I'm so fucking lucky. I don't have to do this year. I qualified, and getting to watch the some of the newer generation players and seeing how they adapted against a lot of the like some of the veterans that were there. It was really interesting to watch, and it really gives a good sign for the future of Third Strike and the future of this community. Because a lot of young blood playing, and even the old heads still playing too. So it felt overall very good. The team that was working there. Shout outs to the Jazzy team for their endless, tireless work that they put in for this event. So couldn't be happier.
Yeah, and I can tell you from like a spectator standpoint, like I'm in the Jazzy like team chat, and like I told them like it should be high fives and hugs all around for you guys. Like as a spectator afterwards for the weekend, like after watching
Right.
Sunday's like finale, I was just like, damn, this was a great like from a I never get to watch it from home. I'm always there in person, so that was like
Mhm.
as a spectator, like this was an amazing weekend for Third Strike. Like I think I made a tweet right after the tournament or Monday morning was like, we had that big tournament in Japan the same weekend, and then we had
Right,
Jazzy
right.
going on. So had two monitors pulled up and was in Discord with the boys all weekend, just watching just pure Third Strike. And I was like, we're eating
Yeah.
good as a Third Strike community right now. Like,
Right? Yeah, like to hard so you guys like were watching from home this year, and I was
mm,
watching from home last year, and
mm,
like there was the same feeling. It
mm,
was that was true FOMO because it was just like okay, Spurs like last year for me was the first year I wasn't at Jazzy, and I
mm,
was like okay, I'm gonna grab a burger. I'm gonna grab some fries, grab a frozen margarita because
mm.
there's a place down the street from me where that serves all that. And I'm like, I'm watching this, but fuck, man, like I wanted to be there so bad, but I was so proud of everybody and like just like getting crazy in my little apartment, like fuck that happened, fuck, oh my god, like
Yeah.
and trying not to get a noise complaint, how hype I was getting. But so like I'm glad that it's still evoking those feelings for everybody that unfortunately couldn't be there, but was with us there in spirit. As sappy as that sounds, it really is the truth that it just goes to show how much this little game has impacted all of our lives, and it's kind of brought us all together. It keeps us together.
And then kind of walking through the selection process. I actually missed that because I was out with family for lunch,
Mm,
and I was trying to run
mm,
home to make it in time. By the time I got home, like I think the first
mm.
match had already started. I think it was like Nero versus Big Nasty, but like what was the selection process like? What was your mindset going into it? Was there like a certain matchup you were trying to avoid or player, or like
Mm.
did you have any like
Okay.
call outs or anything you wanted to do? Because I know as an Alex player, you have to be somewhat selective, right? Like as Chun
Yes.
Yan, it's just like whatever, throw whatever you got at me. I don't give a shit. My character's
Yeah.
pretty good, but like as an Alex player, there's definitely certain characters you're like, maybe I'll play them later on in the bracket. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay. Okay. So full disclosure. I don't know if there was anybody who was. I don't know if there was anybody who had figured it out, but basically every SoCal player and then like all the SoCal adjacent players kind of told each other, "Hey, first round we're not picking each other. Like
Yep.
we're gonna try to avoid it. So like Amir, Arliath, and myself, and then of course like Makoto Mike, and then
Mm,
even Phil. Like we were all like, hey, like if we have the option to, we're not playing each other.
mm,
So that worked out for the first round. Um, okay, to like full disclosure as well, like, and it's no slight on any of the players there.
yep.
I actually really wanted Poe first
Mm,
round because like I actually kind of enjoy Alex Akuma and don't enjoy it, but like Poe is also like super much like super good friend of mine, and
mm,
I feel like we always have good matches. Poe was one of the guys I wanted, but what happened in the selection process was as a qualifier, I think I qualified and of the 5 points qualifiers, I think I had like the least amount of points,
mm.
or so my selection came later.
Oh, okay,
Then
okay.
like Poe, and then Poe when he went because he was one of the early qualifiers, he actually selected Rescue Ryan. I think early on. I remember if I remember, he went after Rescue Ryan early on, so
Mm,
that matchup was set.
mm,
And then I looked at the math and where everybody else was, and I was like, well, the bracket around him, like, were all unfavorables. Like, I wanted to avoid Big Nasty because it's a comp. Like, dude, that'd be so fucking good.
yeah.
So like the only other options I really felt like I wanted to fight at that point was in Silo. And in Silo picked right before me. He picked spot 13.
Mm,
And then I was like, you know what? Like that's the only matchup that makes sense to me right now based on avoiding SoCal and then avoiding other players that I didn't want to run into right then. So in Silo made the most sense to me. And it's not a slight on him as a player because in Silo is absolutely fucking amazing as a
yep.
player. So, but I feel like that matchup was for me first round. That's like the only thing that made sense.
Yeah, I mean everyone who's qualified, like they're strong players, right? Like there's no easy
Yeah.
outs. Like everyone there is pretty much a champion in their own local scene or whatever. So
Yes.
it's like
Absolutely.
you're pretty much playing like the finals of like a local tournament. Like yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
there's no easy outs in top 16 ever, you know. So
Exactly. Exactly.
um
Yeah. There's no easy outs. That's
um
like the perfect way to put it. And
um
it doesn't matter. At a certain point, like so, in the morning, like the morning before the finals happened. So I was at breakfast with Big Nasty and Kyoshiro.
mm,
And then, as we're having breakfast, Big Nasty brings it up. He's like, "Okay, guys, let's be real. Who's the matchups we want to avoid?"
yeah,
And obviously, all three of us said, "Yeah, we don't want to fight Chun Li's
yeah,
because what? You had Amir, you had Skipper, you had Nero who plays Chun as well as Ken, Nipper Man. Also, it was like there were
yeah.
four
Four
Chuns there,
chuns,
and we
yeah.
were all like, yeah, four Chuns. We're like, yeah, we don't like. Eventually, we're gonna have to fight him, but we don't want to fight him first round. So that kind of came up as well. But at a certain point where we're just like, well, you're gonna have to fight it eventually. So
Mm.
you got to think of it as you may have to fight it eventually. So you might as well just get it over with now in the first round. So that did come into consideration. But at the end of the day, I was like, all right, in silence, you and me, buddy. Let's do this.
Nice. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So you play your first match against Silo. How do you like the
Yes.
the Alex Hugo matchup? Because like as an Alex main, I'll say that. I
Oh
fucking
boy.
hate playing against Hugos. Like I hate it. Like
It,
because
okay.
if you play the matchup properly, nothing happens. Like I feel almost like
Yeah.
if you watch like Genki versus Hayao, it's just like all neutral, like just all buttons and
Right.
that's it. So
Wait. Yeah. So about a week before the finals, I actually messaged Genki,
mm,
and I was like, hey, there are certain matchups that I'm concerned about. One of them was Chun.
mm,
And then the other ones were actually Oro and Hugo. It was like I thought that I wasn't aware that that like Boa wasn't going. So,
mm,
but like Oro's like one of the veins of my existence as a Nautilus player.
yeah.
But then I remembered that I remember that in previous years, like thanks to Big Nasty, putting the fear of God in me, that the Hugo matchup, like you said, was really rough. So I was like, hey, so what do you do? What do you do in these matchups? And he reminded me, and he actually saw my message to him late.
Mm,
But he's like, "Yo, I'm so sorry I didn't see this like before." But he's like, "I can't write too much now." But specifically against Hugo, he said like, you play the neutral. You don't need to rush it. But one thing he really said was utilize EX Flash Chop to maintain your space because
mm,
it's an EX move, has special priority. He should be able to like combat a lot of Hugo's pokes that way. 'Cause, I think Hugo has better pokes obviously than Alex. And so when you watch the match between me and Silo, there's a lot of dash forward, dash back, and every time I like got too close or pressed in, you guys realize like I didn't really have any advantage. So that's why I would have to really outfight and just try to beat him to the punch in terms of like the neutral, but then get an explosion like dash and Kara throw. Like that worked a lot, and then it was just in and out, in and out, in and out. So with that match, it really became it wasn't it was less Alex versus Hugo and more so and Silos never really faced me in tournament.
mm.
Like we've never matched. So going into that, it was what can I catch you off guard? What are you not expecting from my Alex as opposed to any of the Alex that you've played? So I was like, can I get away with player matchup unfamiliarity, if that makes sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so you play in Silo next round. How's
Yeah.
that? Who do you play next? And what was
Oh
the matchup?
yeah. So unfortunately, the next round was Amir,
Yeah.
and so the defending champ. And Amir's had my number all season long. Like we faced each other for the first time in tournament. Actually, so I've known Amir ever since I started playing 3S competitively in 2005, 2006. And up until then, he and I never faced each other in tournament at all. Like usually I would get eliminated early on. Like we were never since that bracket, and I would get pieced out way too early to face Amir. So like it's only this year I've actually ever faced Amir in tournament, and he's always had my number. So it's always been like 2-0, 2-0. But the matches weren't like crazy lopsided
Mm.
whenever we fought. So going into that one, I was like, okay, you know what? Let's 5 Star gave me a piece of advice at the barcode qualifier that I needed to that I took into the match against Amir, which was that first match, that first round. When you're fighting a seasoned player, like someone who's seen everything, quote unquote, seen everything, you have to go in and shake the meta up. You can't play orthodox because if you do, you're gonna lose. Like the odds are you will lose because orthodox plays in their favor. So when you look at the first game, the first round, I was like, okay, what's the dumbest thing I could fucking do right now?
No.
Stop,
Yeah.
right? And the funny thing is, Amir. So I open up with stop. Amir opens up with his on cue. We excuse each other. So everyone's like, what is going on, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, okay, it's momentum, it's crazy, it's a scramble, which favors Alex. So I've created a situation now that it's not orthodox, like I said, not orthodox. It's crazy, it's like unpredictable, and I think that helped me build some momentum going into that first game. And I ended up taking that first game, and like you can see it on the replay, like usually like I try to keep calm, but I was like, fuck, like holy shit, that's the first time I've ever beaten the mirror
Mm.
casual or tournament, like ever in my life. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, okay, I can like I'm feeling myself that I can do this. And then next thing you know, Amir changes pace like he always does and
Yeah.
dominates me the next 2 games. They weren't like complete utter dominance, but Amir handily adjusted better than I did. But at the same time, uh, it was arguably the most fun I've had in a Chun Li match, win or lose, because I could feel how Amir like was able to adapt, and I made subtle adaptations as well. And overall, it was exhilarating. Like you get those matches where you really feel pushed to your limit in a good way, and it doesn't even feel like it's winning or losing. It's just like it's, for lack of a better term, the thrill of the fight. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
and yeah. So afterwards, like Amir sends me the losers, and like there was a combo I missed. Like I dropped a critical jump fierce medium kick into EX, which
mm.
would have sealed the round. The EX never came out, or it was either EX or super, one or the other. But yeah, I only got medium kick, and then nothing came out afterwards, and that was unfortunate because I feel like that was third game, and that would have at least extended me to a final round from what I recall. Well, it might have been second game, either or, but basically Amir was able to close out that game because I couldn't reassess myself off of that scramble. So it's very double-edged sword, the fighting for scramble like that, but at the same time, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, and I feel like that matchup is like it's helpless until it's not, right? Like when you're looking at Alex fighting a neutral, it's just like, oh god, this looks so bad. But if you can corner her, if you can knock her down, like the matchup feels good at that point. It's just like how much life am I gonna lose trying to make this situation happen for me? Because we're all not
Yeah,
because we're all not Genki, right? Like you watch Genki play
right.
the matchup and he's whip punching everything with sweep and EX shoulder tackle or whatever, and then but me, it's
Right.
like I gotta hit this bitch in the mouth. Like I gotta get her on the ground, and then like let's actually start playing the game at that point. Because if I try to play button for button, it's just brutal. Absolutely brutal.
So what? Yeah. So like you mentioned that like in the Alex Chen matchup, and Lance, don't listen to this because now you'll find he knows my secrets already. Like I know, but so one thing I did before going into that match was Feetwork. Frankie BFG.
Mhm.
He has the Genki third strike film room, right?
Mhm.
And he put out the whole just showing those spots where Genki would fight Chun Li, and there was a concerted effort to like commit that to memory. not utilize crouch medium punch so much because again parryable high and
Mm.
low, but instead utilizing crouching medium kick, maybe shorter range, but picking your spots. And as an Alex player, especially in that matchup, you have to make it a player based matchup.
Mm.
So like against Amir, harder because Amir is the pinnacle champion in America. But when you face off against other champions, you have to think what are they threatening you with, and can you get those ranges? Which is why like I committing myself to the ranges where crouching medium kick, even if it doesn't lead to much, it gives you like, all right, that's a little bit of damage. That is a hey, this is a small danger zone, and it ends up becoming like death by 1,000 cuts until you can get an explosion like a burst moment where you can rush in power throw and get that knockdown like you
Yeah.
wanted. And so it really relies on you as the player to be party and to have steel nerves because otherwise if you don't and you crack, then suddenly he goes, hi, I have look forward. Oh, you're gonna eat 40% damage. You're fucking stupid. Yeah, Lance knows all that, right?
Yeah. Good matchup.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So Amir sends me the losers, and then I matched up against Nero in losers quarters.
Mm.
Yeah, it was like losers quarters. Nero, I found out he's only like 20 years old,
Mm.
and he's so way more solid in the past I think 3 months than I've ever seen him before. So uh, we've only played online. I didn't like I realized like oh he's honest man on fucking Fightcade,
Mm.
and he had always been playing Ken against me. And so we get to the character select screen, and I realize he's not hovering Ken.
Mm.
He's waiting for me to make a selection on whether it'll be Alex or Makoto. And I'm on One Piece side, so I'm hovering Alex already. And I'm like, he's hovering right over Dudley just to be safe. Because like,
Mm.
and I see the timer go from 2 to 1, and then right as it hits 1, he moves the timer. I'm like, you fucker! Like, absolute fuck. I was about to be like, I want double blind pick right now. I go with Alex. He figured out my Alex because he obviously saw what Amir did, and then there's a lot of stuff that he's added to his game.
Mm.
So that's when I had to ring out. Like I was like, okay, if I stay with Alex right now, it's not looking good because it's too familiar and there's too many things that I'm getting shut down on. So
Yep.
at that point, narrative shift. Okay, bring out Big Feet Makoto, and unfortunately for me, Nero remembered a lot of the things that I was doing to him before
Mm.
when we faced off last time, Makoto Chun, and so he had answers for me already. And as a result, like Nero eliminated me, so I go out in ninth place. Uh, Sad, disappointed because I was like, I really want a top 8, but at the same time, like I said earlier, really proud of Nero and his growth as a player. So it was really cool to see the new guard come up, step up, and do the things that we did as players to get better. And ultimately bittersweet, but at the same time I can rest easy knowing that I accomplished like the one goal that I wanted for that weekend was to qualify, and qualifying by points was good, and then also not going 0-2, thank
Yep.
God, because I was like shit, like I just give me my first game and I'm like my first match, and then all right, then whatever happens happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, who goes 0-2 after qualifying for Jazzy? Yeah, I don't know. I
Well,
don't know how that happens. So, yeah,
yeah,
it's brutal. It's brutal. So,
Maybe someone else.
yeah,
so switching gears there. So you get eliminated now.
yeah,
Now you got to get on comms, right? Like go straight
yes,
from
yes.
that. So I will say like I was rooting for you to make top 3. But I am happy I got to hear you on comms for top 8 because like I will
Yeah,
say you're probably my favorite third strike commentator. So I was like,
I,
all
I
right, we
appreciate
got a
that.
lot
Thank
of
you.
hot or hype matches left for top 8. Like I'm glad Duralath's gonna be on comms for it. So switching gears for that, what'd you make of the top 8 into that like pose
Oh,
run?
just
Pose run.
pose run. So right before I don't like I'm not gonna say that I affected Poe's game in any way. Um, so before we went on commentary, I was talking with everybody, and Poe goes over to me. And he's like, "Dude, I'm so glad." Like, over like, he was like, "Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to face because like we fought the night before, and
Mm.
uh, he claims that I was whooping his ass. I don't think it was bad. It was probably more even than anything. But I was like, Poe, I'm going to tell you one thing that you need for your game right now, and that's to not always be frame one airborne on wake up,
Mm-hmm.
because he would always do jump back, or he would do wake up demon flip,
Flip.
frame
Yep.
one airborne, right? But like when you do that, I was like, when you do that, especially if you're jumping back and you're not buffering a parry afterwards, you've already committed to giving up your guard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, hey, like that's what you need to do. Like if you like want to go far, that's where I was beating you. Like where I was getting you last night was that. So if you stop that, then like you're gonna do way better. I don't know if that fully was in effect for Poe's run, because Poe himself is just a great player in general, and watching his run, watching him go through everybody, especially watching his fight against Amir, and the way that we talked about this, the way that he was able to get Amir into the corner, which Amir stated that once he gets cornered, it's rougher for him, and he's going to try his damnedest to fight out of there and try to get out of there. Cole did a really good job of just controlling that and trying to get that correct spacing and maintain corner position, corner control, and he really wanted it more. I mean, like not like everybody wanted it less, but
Yep.
the way that he played was inspirational, and he played like a demon, and it culminated in him winning the title. It was beautiful.
Yeah, super super confident play. I can tell you, like that's the most thing I noticed about watching Poe's run was just like he had a game plan. He stuck to it no matter what. You
Mm.
know, especially against like some
Yes,
Chun Li players. Sometimes you can see people. I know I'm guilty of this
right.
myself. It's just like deer in the headlights, right? Like I try a couple of things,
Mm.
I get back fierce, I get punched in the mouth or whatever, and then you just kind of like freeze up. Like okay, like let me reassess this. Poe
Mm.
seemed like he just had a game plan. Like I'm just going. This is going to work, and I'm gonna make it work, and it
Mm.
fucking worked. So.
Yeah. So
um,
like one of the big things that Poe did really well was just the 50-50 situations that would come in after Amir guarded, like he would block either a dive kick or a demon flip kick,
mm,
and it was like both times almost may not have been aware of which side he ended up on,
mm,
but at the same time it created enough instability in the match, and Poe was able to take advantage of that and just again get Amir to the corner. He didn't make it a scramble where it was just like I'm just gonna swing, try to get max
mm.
damage, but it's mid screen, and now Amir has a chance to recover. There was intent and thought behind what he was doing, and like in that last game, I don't know, it felt like Amir stayed in the corner for the majority of that match, and that really contributed to Poe closing it out, and you could see it was evident the work was there. Like I remember meeting Poe in like 2012 or 2013 at Evo when we ran the third strike room
Mhm.
in our hotel it was like 2012. We ran the third strike room at Imperial Palace back before it was the Link, and her came by with like No More Funland and a couple other players, and we're all playing casuals in there, and then suddenly Kokujin, Haitani, and Umazono show up because I told them like this is our room, this is where we're playing third strike, and they show up and they want to play for money. And I'm like, all right, guys, get your money out. We're all going money matches. And I'm trying to keep them there because freaking Ryan and Farai and like everybody else, all the big dogs were all out. They were getting dinner. And I was like, hey, fuckers, get over here now because I can't hold these guys here. Like we're trying to hold all these guys here so that way we can play some real 3S.
Yeah.
But I remember Funland and Poe were there, and even if we're losing money, that was just a grand time. So
Yeah.
like fast forward to now, and especially after knowing what Poe went through to come back to the scene,
Mhm.
it's really inspirational how his journey has been, and watching that player from the beginning, from what I remember, 12 like 14 years ago to now, he's the grand champion, and
Yeah.
you couldn't be prouder of a guy like that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I was texting him like right after, like, "You fucking madman! I can't believe you did it!" Like, "Po,
Right,
po,
right,
po,
right,
po, po," you know. So,
right.
yeah. Then he responded the next morning like, "Sorry, buddy. I just now got to these." Like, so.
Yeah,
So.
he was I don't think like so when he won, and obviously like the previous Jazzy aside where I wasn't there, I don't think I've ever seen the crowd go that crazy for the champion obviously since Amir was the two-time champ before, trying to three-peat, and at that point was the villain. So, Poe, had didn't it wasn't like it's not home field advantage, but he definitely had the entire crowd minus
Yeah.
SoCal backing him
Amir
basically.
got booed. I was like, what is going
Yeah,
on right now?
that
Like,
does not
Amir
happen.
was booed. I was like, Amir's like, the sweetheart of the U.S. Like, probably the nicest human being you'll ever
The
meet.
nice
He
guy,
plays
right?
Chun Li
Yeah,
like a fucking demon, but like, yeah, like the nicest human being. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Amir like booed. So when that was going on, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe booing Amir in grand finals. So people
right.
really hate
Yeah.
Chun Li. I think.
Well, I think part of it was people hate Chun Li.
Hmm.
People didn't want to see a mirror repeat
Yep.
again because that would have been that would be the three-peat, and it was like seeing a Chun Li three-peat. But then it's also Poe's put so much and devoted so much of
Yep.
his time to getting better at third strike, and he did it right because for him it wasn't about the winning or losing. It was about figuring things out. It was about learning and continuing to evolve as a player, which we
Yeah.
should all uh, aspire to achieve. But Poe, like I said, he did all that and then he achieved it. So there you go.
Yeah, and his run this year too, just of him traveling everywhere. Like he went to max mode. He got, I think, second to Frankie there at max mode.
Right,
Then
right.
DIY he got second to Daisuke on the surprise show up there. So, yeah, just him coming in second all season long, and then just when it counted, he won. So amazing,
Yep.
amazing for both. So, but yeah, so that's Jazzy. You're back now. Maybe let's take it back a little bit because for the Neros in the chat who haven't been around as long as some of us guys, like you've been playing this game a couple of years, right? Like when did you start this game? 2020 COVID or no?
Oh God.
to, to,
Okay, let's
take
see. I started right after the Daigo Parry, so that's when I officially started playing. I didn't get competitive until late 2005, so
mm,
basically early 2006. And that was the beginning, like the heyday of the Family Fun Arcade videos that
mm,
they were releasing. It was those videos that got me to want to compete. But it started with the Daigo Parry because they had a third strike cap at my college. It was one of those. It was a little like one of those little like one of the smaller cabinets,
mm,
and you barely fit two people on it, so it wasn't a showcase or anything. And it was American buttons that all and sticks that always broke. The dude never he maintenance them like 20% of the time.
mm,
But the video comes out, and we're all like it's so that's like the summer of 2004, and then so we're all back after summer break, and we're all talking about, dude, did you guys see the Daigo period? Like, can you believe that was crazy? And so this dumbass right here is like, no, man, I'm gonna find a way to do that. I could do that. No, he couldn't do that. He was fucking terrible at that time. But that video got me to start like playing more and appreciate it more because I actually used to hate Third Strike before
mm.
that. Like I despised the game. I was a CVS2 player.
Oh, okay, okay. What's your CVS?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can guess your CVS2 team. I'm gonna say K Groove.
Yep. It was K
Okay.
Group.
Sagat's on there somewhere.
So God was on there. Yeah, 2 for 2.
I'm gonna say Geese, maybe. I'm gonna go Geese.
Okay, not Geese.
Okay, okay,
Close
okay,
though.
okay. Rock.
It was Rock. Yeah, Rock
Okay,
and Sagat were two.
Rock
Yeah, and
Sagat.
then
Fuck, I don't
Big
know.
Basic.
Chun or not Chun? Cammy.
No,
Or
that can't be. Okay, it was Ken actually.
Ken. Okay, okay. That's a good team. That's a
Because
sick team. So.
it's all right. Like I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, okay, Rock. Like it was basically two guys with really good roundhouses, and then Ken because Ken's Ken.
Yeah.
So like would play, and I was that dude who was like good with his friends,
Yep.
but like never could compete against like actual competition, right? And so the third strike, Daigo Parry happens, and now we have the third strike cabinet at our college, and people were actually competing on that and playing on that.
Mhm.
So it was like, okay, who's going to be king of the hill here at our college? And I got as far as within the randoms that were playing there, like I was beating them. But then like some people that were actually like the known Family Fun players, like Eric Chen from back in the day,
Mhm.
very strong game player, and then like Rob Greco, Chun Li, were also going to the college. Same thing with like Matt Chen, Eric Chen's brother. Like I didn't know that they were there too, and then they would show up every now and then to play. and I would get mollywopped there.
Mm.
That's just fine. Well, then my friends introduced me to some of the arcades over in the area, like Interface and then Family Fun Arcade, and I started going there more often and seeing like, oh, those are like the big boy players. Like, oh, these are the guys that I've been fucking watching in videos all this time. Like they play that. Like if you ever watch like WCW when like
Mm.
Kevin Nash and Scott Hall came by, and Kevin Nash was like, "So this is where the big boys play, huh?
Yeah.
We don't play." So fast forward, it was like some random night, and I'm with my guys from the college, and it's late. It's like 12:30 in the morning, and like I see the big boy cab. Like the big boy cab at FFA was like the first most cab, and that's where all the guys like Pyro, Amir, Five Star, all those guys like they were playing. But like not everybody was there that night, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. Pyro's on the machine. I'm gonna go after him. Like
Mm.
I'm gonna put it some quarter up, and the first round, like Pyro has not like obviously never played him before, never met him before, and like I get the first round, and all my friends are like, what the fuck, like yo, like he got the first round, then rounds 2 and 3, Pyro fucking steamrolls me, but it was like a fuck like good match, and I'm like that told me okay, I can actually do this, like okay, if I can at least take rounds off of these guys, I want to meet them now, and so introduce myself and started like slowly going to family and interface more often to try to
Mm.
go to like the ranking battles, like the end of the year tournaments that they had. Wasn't doing great, but it was like a lot of top 16 finishes at the time, or like one round like shy of top 16, which was like for a new player pretty unheard of, I
Mm.
guess. But it's like Alex at the time,
Yeah.
and like I'll transition. The reason why we're going to Alex
Mm.
was I used to actually be I played Akuma first, then Chun Li, and then Dudley. And then I watched an FFA video. It was like the first video that had commentary.
Mm.
And then it was Rockefeller and Five Star on commentary. And then it was a 2v2. So like the match was Eric Chin and God, oh God, who was on there? Wait, no, not here there. But there was a player that was playing Alex.
Mm.
That player was Rennick. That was Ty Mitchell. And um, Yee Five Star yelling one thing when Rennick Ty Mitchell lands a freaking power bomb. Five Star yells, "Ah, Batista bomb!" Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the coolest shit in the world. I'm fucking playing Alex now, and so I play Alex, and yeah, I find out like he can't be double uppercut. I'm like, okay, well if he can't be like double car uppercut, like
Mm.
a mid screen, okay, that's one thing I don't have to worry about, right? Like because that's like the max damage. Everybody wants that. Not realizing that no, just Ken can just land super whenever he fucking wants. But like the character made so much sense because it was like the underdog character, and he just did a lot of big damage, and I had a lot of fun playing him. So I was stuck with him all throughout that time, and like that's how, like so that's like I kind of got like how I got started and kind of got stuck playing Alex at that point, and then never stopped.
So have you been playing Third Strike this entire time, or did you take any breaks?
Yeah, no, I've been playing this entire time. I think the longest break I took was maybe a week and a half in like 2013
Mm.
because I had to go to the Philippines because one of my grandma had passed away,
Mm.
and so like I traveled to the Philippines and they didn't really have any like 3S players out there. They had Marvel players, which was kind of cool actually.
Mm.
But I think like that's the longest I had ever gone without playing 3S. And it was solely because of family stuff. But I don't think ever since then, I don't think more than 3 days will ever go by where I don't try to actually like fire up the game and play something. Whether even if it's just to like make sure my fingers are moving for a combo or like I want to see can I still execute like the basic Yuri and unblockable like just to
Mm.
stay fresh because it kind of just became ingrained in my everyday. Like I would go home like when I went to acting school 2007 2008, like I would go there for like 4 hours. Our class was like 4 hours long, and then I would go home and then I would fire up PS2 Third Strike. And my buddy lent me a stick, and I would literally just go into arcade mode and practice landing a Yuri and unblockable on up until like I get to like the first bonus stage, reset the game, and do it all over again.
Yep.
Because I was obsessed. Because like Yuri was like really giving me problems at that time. So I was like, okay, so what do I do? Why don't I just learn Urian to learn what I'm going to do?
Mhm.
Yeah, so like that became the mentality for me at the time was, you know, can I learn a character in order to learn a character in order to learn like how would they approach Alex? How would they approach how I play? And then, that's also why like I have like I could kind of decently play every single character in the game, minus a few, is
Mhm.
because, I spent time trying to learn these characters. Like, okay, what do they do? What do they do to how do they approach? Like, I get into what would be getting into their skin. But that was like an everyday thing for me, and it's kind of been just an everyday thing for me up to this very day. Because like, that's there's still so much more to learn about this game. We're still learning shit. It's
Yeah.
the year of our Lord 2026, and we're still learning more new stuff about this game.
So FFA is kind of legendary in the American
Yes.
Third Strike scene. Kind of
Yes.
talk me through what the scene was like then versus what it's like now, because I was also, I wasn't going to tournaments and stuff back around, but when I was 13,
Mm.
14, I was definitely downloading the FFA Rambats and Dr. Sub Zero podcast and listening to all that
Yes.
stuff. So like,
Yeah.
kind of talk me through what the scene was like then versus how it is now, because I don't think people understand like the differences between what if you're a new player in 2026 versus if you're a new player in 2004 or 2005 coming into the scene.
I mean, okay, it was rugged back then because it was very dog eat dog, but
Um,
that doesn't mean that everybody was just on their own, like smelling their own parts or anything.
mhm,
Like when I that match when I played Pyro for the first time and he beat me, then I was actually able to like go up and introduce myself and learn a little bit about what I'm doing with what like third strike and certain things that I like always seen people do that I want to learn how to do. So you can still like introduce yourself to somebody and you know say hi, but a lot of it, I hate to say it, but it did hinge on could you really prove your mettle
mhm,
uh, as a player? Like, were you there to hang with the best? And by hang, I mean like compete with them. Like
mhm,
how serious were you about this? Or um, I guess the term that you use nowadays is like FGC tourists. Like you were
mhm,
just like coming by, but then like you weren't really serious about it. Like for FFA, it did feel like really did kind of weed out who was just casually there versus like who really wanted to learn the game. And at the very least, though, it was easy enough that as I started playing more in that tournament scene, you know, it started to get like notice of more people like that. Like one of the Rambats that I played in, like I faced off against Ghetto D, Don Sneddon, like OG Alex
yep,
player. Like we talked about like how Rennick was like the Alex player back then, and obviously Hold That. Actually, Hold That didn't play Alex back then. He did, but it wasn't like he was a Ken main as well as an Alex main. Like,
mhm,
uh, but there was another guy, like, OG. We're talking like Alex Violet, like the time, like his time. Yeah, Ghetto D, Don Sneddon, and we got matched up in the mirror, and I eked out a win against him because I caught him off guard, and everyone was just like, dude, bro, like, yo, this guy beat Ghetto D, like, what, like, how did that happen? And there was also back in the days of like SRK, and we would all talk back then. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I was that awkward kid that was kind of fanboying with a
mhm,
lot of these players. Like most notably, I was a big fan of Arliath, and
mhm.
I'd be like, "Hey, senpai noticed me." Um, but obviously that parlayed into like our friendship, and he was one of my groomsmen at my wedding, and I was one of his groomsmen at his weddings too. So that like back then, yeah, it really was. Do you really want to invest your time? Are you really here to play the game, or like I said, like you're gonna try, but then you lose, and then it's like, oh, since I'm not winning, I'm not gonna waste my time with this. Like they really did test you on how bad do you want it, which was it really laid the foundation for how we play today. Is like how badly do you want it now? Like do you still want it, even though you're 40 years old and you know you're playing the same game, but you still want it overall. And it's great because it reinforced that like we have something to be concrete with each other with. that makes sense.
Yeah. Did you play in the SBO qualifiers back then?
I did not. Well, let me see. The SBO call, like the first ones. No, I did. I never did because I couldn't find a team, and at that time, I didn't believe I was good enough to warrant it. Also, by the time the qualifier started, I think I still had obligations, so I couldn't actually make the time frame for it. So yeah, like those SPO quals, like I think I showed up like midway through, and I think oh god, I remember how heartbreaking it was. It was the year that it was Pyro, Ricky Ortiz, and Kentaro Inoue. When their team won, but then I think this is the year that like Alex Valle came back to compete, and the team that took second was it was Amir, Valle, and Rockefeller. Oh God! So Pyro's team qualifies, and it's oh no, it was there wasn't Pyro Ricky. It was Pyro Ricky and Frankie 3S OG Frankie 3S. Yeah, that's what the team was. So Pyro, you're Ricky, and yeah. Which like if you ever go onto the like if you go on the YouTube and you search up SBO West Coast calls like trailer where they set it to like the music from World of Warcraft, um, that was the one that I got to see like the end of where uh Pyro's team clutches it out, and then you know Rockefeller was a super strong Urian back in the day, as well as the God commentator. But you could see how like the disdain, like the heartbreak that that he was feeling because he missed the call, like because he got defeated by Pyro's team. It was what could you do, right? Like they were the better team that day. Like but you could feel it. Like it was like that passion where looking back at it, I was like, damn, like there's no chance in hell. Like I'm at a level where I'm gonna be able to compete for SBO of all things, let alone like hang with these guys now. But it gave me something to work towards. But you know, like that memory always stuck with me because again, how badly do you want it for your game? Like, or are you just casually, I'm gonna play. Oh, Hody Dum, I lost. All right, I'll go play something else. Like I'll go play DDR or Initial D, like on the other side because it's okay. But like it was that passion that really kept me going, and like it always left a mark on how passionate everybody was about Third Strike back in the day.
Okay, so you said back then you guys kind of weeded out the Third Strike tourist. What mechanisms were used to do this weeding out?
What like it really was like, can you deal with losing? Like honestly, and I think this is also endemic of today's game nowadays because it's so easy to hit the reset button or the re-challenge button. But back like in this is like the old fogies at the arcades back in the day. But you're investing a quarter, or you're like at some of the more expensive arcades, you're investing 50 cents, you're investing $1 to play, and then if you don't win, oh well, guess what? You're losing money, and then you got to go to the back of the line, so you're also losing time as well, right? So you would what it, to me what it was like was okay. How long can you stretch your dollar? How long can you stretch $5 when you're there? And then when you're like, if you lose and you got to go back to the back of the line to wait your turn to play again, it's like, okay, well, uh, are you just gonna, how like, is it just ho hum? I'll just occupy my time with something else, or what are you gonna do to get back on that machine and stay on that machine? And I think that's kind of what weeded out a lot of like quote unquote tourists or the people that didn't want to deal with it was, you know, how were you willing to invest not just the time in game but also the time outside of the game to get back on the machine and try to get that win one more time. You could feel like like I said, who wants it more?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've obviously that was mostly before my time, but I went to Japan a few years in the 2015 like 2019 time period, so I
Yeah, yeah.
experienced it like that way. And I've heard people talk about it too, so I kind of like align it with my own experiences. And I
Hmm.
do think there is something to be said for, like you kind of alluded to, like on Fightcade, you can just hit start again and you can just keep doing it.
Yeah.
You can play 30 games and
Mhm.
there's no penalty. Whereas I feel like in a room with, especially if there's a room with a line, right? Like if there's like
Mhm.
8 people around one cab, like not only is that like it makes you make different decisions. Like you're like, okay, if I bet it all on this empty jump super, I don't get to
Mhm.
play for 30 minutes. And also, those 4 guys that are behind me in line might think I'm kind of slightly stupid as well, which, maybe you care about that or maybe you don't, but it's a totally different environment, I
Yeah.
think.
I will say that like you just said, there's four or five people that are behind you in the line, ready to play, and you lose, and you can lose in the most spectacular way. When you play offline, you play with the people that are there. It's you can be the most battle seasoned veteran there is, but there's always still that feeling in your mind of there are people watching you.
Mm.
Um, I'll give an example. It was West Coast Warzone 2009, and I was going up against Gene Wong. Gene Wong, more known for CVS2, but did play 3S. He was hanging with 5 star, and it's an Alex versus Chun Li. It's always a fucking Chun Li. And case in point, uh, Gene Wong is up one game on me, and it's the final round of the second game. I think we're both one round apiece, and he leaks Hoyokuzen, and so I block it. And I have enough to survive without even having to parry the last hit. But then my hand froze because I was like, okay, I block. All right, I can just EX rush, and then I win because. But then I looked, and I didn't realize I didn't have an EX meter to my name at that point. And then when I realized that, I was like, shit, I don't have EX. What do I do? Wait, I should hit a button. And by that point, Gene had recovered and jumped back, and I could hear the crowd yell, "Oh!" Like he fucking let it go. Like, oh my god, he didn't punish it. And I was like, young Andrew, like 2009,
Mm.
was not as I didn't have the constitution that I guess I kind of do now. So I froze, and it was that feeling of that thought crept in of, oh shit, like I let it go. Oh fuck, like I can't believe I let it go. Okay, well I gotta do something. I gotta get him now. Okay, get an EX meter. Okay, he's all the way across the screen. And then next thing you know, I try to EX slash elbow him, and Gene was ready for that. As soon as I hit EX slash elbow, he had been charging down. He EX birds and beats my slash elbow and fucking clutches out, and wins the match at 0 health. And it was like super deflating. Like you said, it's like, dude, I'm gonna lose in the like I lost in the dumbest fashion possible, right? And but that's a turning point. Like, damn, can I live with this loss, or am I gonna turn with my tail tucked in between my legs and then run the SF4 or a different game where then nothing's expected of me,
Mm.
and that like that's where talk to friends, and it's just like you come back afterwards, you take the loss, you feel it, and then afterwards, whatever, you're gonna play the next game, and again, like that same night, I think I came up to the like 5 star had his room, and we were all playing Third Strike in there, and I was constantly just getting my shit pushed in, but at the
Yep.
same time, that's how you get mentally stronger off of that stuff. So the choice was mine to make about can I still do this even after a humiliating loss? And so thankfully, the answer has been yes, and I hope that the answer will stay yes. As I still continue to play Third Strike well into my later years, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember. So this is a dumb story. I'll keep it quick. But I was
Yeah.
playing at arcade. And Alex the Machine has picked Elena against me. He's just doing the most degenerate garbage you've ever imagined.
Yes, he does.
Just
Yeah.
he's trying so bad just to beat me one game, and I beat him like 8 times in a row. And he just stays on the cab and just keeps trying to get me. And I was like, and I turned to Sunny and I was like, kick him off the cab. There should be some fucking consequences for playing this way.
Well,
I I do you I think there is an element of like I
yeah.
feel like that was something great about having I've always liked when there's a line to playing because I'm like you should have to like if you're gonna empty jump super me you should have to wait 30 minutes before you play again.
To take it back.
Yeah.
Well, like I know
100%.
like Jace, my buddy Jace, Dictator from Houston. Like we were trying to explain to the kids, like you guys are lucky to have what you have now because you can go up and just play, and if you lose, yeah, whatever, I'll come back or whatever.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, like not only did you have to wait, like you're money matching. Like every single time you
Right.
step up to the cab, right? Like I'm putting money
It's a
on the
money match.
line.
Yeah.
They want your money. Some people are trying to make their money last the entire evening. So like they're playing like I only have $1.50 to last me a couple hours, and I need to play like I only have $1.50 to last me a couple hours. It's not, well, fuck it, I'm feeling Makoto today. Like I'll play some Makoto, and
Right.
whatever happens,
Right.
happens. Maybe I'll try my main later. There's no warm ups. You're just going straight into it like money
Right.
matching, and also too, I feel
Yeah.
like you touched on something earlier about like the nature of this game and like putting yourself out there. Like I really feel that's what's different about like fighting games in particular versus like modern games. Like let's say your
Mm,
Overwatch, your Call of Duties, your team games, things like that. Is just like there's nowhere to hide in this game. Like if you
exactly.
play and you get embarrassed or you do something dumb, you can't say like, "Well, my team was idiots," or like
Right.
we
Right.
gotta whatever. It's just like no, you're out there like you're an idiot. You woke up uppercut and just died. You bet it all on this. It's your fault, So I really feel like
Yeah.
that there's something to be said about this game where it's just like it's all you, man. Like you fucked up, you have to hold that, you have to answer for that. Like there's no like my team's
Yeah.
bad. Next game, cue it up. So
Yeah. Yeah. Like Third Strike, and fighting games in general, it gives a very high level of accountability. Like you said,
mm,
it's all on you. And I mean, obviously, there's like team formats where obviously people will play together, like 5v5, 3v3, and everything like that. But when it's your time on that machine, it boils down to, can you hold up your end of the bargain and claim victory, or are you going to the back of the line, or are you eliminated? And then if you're eliminated, how do you deal with that? What do you do? Like I said, what do you do to get back on there? So it's really it's taught me a lot of life skills in general about what do you do when you get knocked down? What do you do? What do you do to stay standing? Is what you're doing, is it sustainable? Is it something that you can rely on as a human being? So it really did teach a lot of life lessons about like there's like the WWF Desire videos back in the day, and Triple H always. I'm gonna keep quoting
no, you're
WWE, by
good.
the
You're
way.
good.
I'm a huge
You're in the right place.
We're here
yeah.
for it. We're here
So
for it. So
Triple H had his Desire video after he tore his quad, and he always had this line that says, "How bad do you want it? What sacrifices are you willing to make to get it?" This is for like verbatim, almost the quote that he says. How bad do you want it? What sacrifices are you willing to make to get it? I mean, for him, like I said, he tore his quad. 7 months, 7 months of rehab. Train, live like a hermit, but all of that is worth it if it gets you back to where you want to be. And I think for me, like as a third striker, for me, what it was I want to be on that machine. I want to get back and I want to compete. And then if I get knocked back down, I'm gonna get back up and we're gonna do this one more time and we're gonna keep playing.
love it, love it.
You ever had to make the walk of shame where you run out of quarters and you have to go to the change machine
Oh God, like dude.
a million times?
Okay. Oh my God, like that was 2009. That was 2008, 2009, like all the way through. Like 2009, I was playing at Arcade Infinity, and yeah, I was like broker than a mofo at that time. So it was a lot of there was a lot of not just going to the change machine, but also like, hey, you got a spare dollar, my guy? Like, it was kind of embarrassing at the time, but at the same time, I was at least surrounded by people that were actually like they were willing to help. Like they were like, hey, like you need a quarter, dude. I got you. But then it also forced me to like step up the gameplay, harking back to like what we said, where how long can you stretch your dollar? The best way to stretch your dollar was get good so that you don't lose and have to spend another quarter. So,
Yeah.
the walk of shame. But at the same time, it really wasn't the walk of shame because it was like, okay, I'm playing and I'm losing, but I got a dollar and I'm gonna go in, or I got $5, I'll go in, put that in there, and then get back to it because I was like, I'm enjoying my time. I'm enjoying learning and getting stronger at this. So yeah, it's the walk of shame, but at the same time, I'm so ready to invest in this game right now because I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the people I'm playing against, and when I'm winning, it's good. But it's all we kept the good times rolling that way.
Mhm. Yeah, I've thought about like I think we've kind of talked about how having a monetary incentive puts a pressure on how you
Mm.
play. I
Yes.
think also, I mean, I would imagine like, if I like loan you $1, right, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah,
Mm.
here, fine, here's some quarter, you play a few more times, and
Yeah.
then you might feel a pressure to be like, okay, well, like I can't, I can't do anything stupid because he's gonna be like, I wasted my dollar on that, you know.
That's what you got. That's what you got to put up with if you're the one lending the dollar, or if you're the one, And it goes back to, oh, eyes are on me now to to perform, and it's all of it really just builds into becoming stronger and sharper as a player because you were given a gift. What are you gonna do with it? Like you get gifted a situation where Ken rips super because he got the wrong read and rips like uppercut or super on you. What are you gonna do with it? Can you are you gonna just block and take the easy punish? Will you try to go for the red parry and try to get optimal, knowing you're risking something, you're risking getting hit and Ken cashing out on his bad situation. It's shit like that you think about, but it's ultimately like you think about it this way, it's just make a choice and then stick to it, and then whatever happens happens afterwards.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I've heard little. I've never experienced it. I've never teamed with the Japanese at a co-op or whatever. But I've heard
Mm.
stories through the grapevine of like like, oh, like I teamed with the Japanese and then like they were really mad at me because I lost this match and I made this one stupid decision. Me personally, because I came up in the mostly fightcade background, I don't really have that mentality. Like
Mm.
if I team with Ray at co-op and he does EX up kicks and he loses and our team is out because of that, I can live with that. But I
Mm.
wonder, I wonder if that, I feel like that we're kind of like all these different scenarios are kind of describing the same situation, which is like, how is your decision making impacted by your circumstances? And it's not something that we
Mm.
actually talk about a lot, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny you bring up that point. So one of my pastimes is fantasy football, and uh, in fantasy football, you've got to choose your lineup before the games are played on Thursday, Sunday, Monday, whatever day it is. And sometimes you'll pick a player, you'll slot a player in it to on your roster to play, and they end up underperforming, even though like they were projected to have like a big day, right?
Mhm.
Or you slot, or you'll take a chance on a player that might get an opportunity even though they're not projected, like the experts don't project them to have a lot of points. So but the way I look at it is, can you justify why you chose to do something? So when you talk to a lot of lesser experienced players, and I'll ask them sometimes, like, why were you going for that? Why would you go for this? Like the traditional Ken I, why would you do that, right? And
Yeah.
if I hear the answer of, I was just trying to hit you, or like I'm gonna go for damage, like, isn't that the goal? Like, just to whittle your life bar down, which in a vacuum, yes. But I always think of it as, can you justify why you made it a certain choice? Like, so for example, if I as if I as Alex have been representing a throw for two, three interactions. Like I get you in the corner, I go throw, and then I go throw again. Right now, it's created the situation where, can you justify uppercutting or can you justify blocking because who in their right mind throws three times, right? But then as a player, that's like something that you will have to expect because, well, I have thought of that situation and then thrown you again a third time because you're expecting me to not throw those things. But overall, it deals with, can you justify why you would make a certain choice and your approach. Like, I'll go back to my match with Nero, where I had to justify. Everybody was like, Tom Arleth asked me, like, why did you go to Makoto? I thought you actually would have run that back with Alex. And I literally told him, was like, he figured out where I was approaching with Alex, and as a result, if I had continued with Alex, I know I would have lost. So for me, the justification was, Alex was the Alex pick in the Nero matchup where I got eliminated. picking Alex was a sour pick. So I needed something to change that to make it fresh. Hence why it was Makoto. You know, I'm gonna die on that shield. Now, obviously, the result was not what I wanted. I was eliminated regardless. But as long as as a player, you have a reason for why you're doing what you're doing, you're in the right direction. Like regardless of whether you win or lose. Kobe Bryant has this statement. He doesn't play to win. He doesn't play. It's not about victory. He plays to figure things out. And when you're playing to figure things out, you become a better player, and that's when the wins come because now you have the knowledge, you have the information on what did this situation bring out, as opposed to certain players where they were like, well, I just want to win. Like, what's
Yep.
the win button? Oh, I'm going to pick Chun-Li because they're the best. That's the best character. And then they get eaten alive by a Q that actually knows how to defend and doesn't just give them a free back fierce or a free low forward. So it's really, can you justify why you made that choice?
Okay. Now you mentioned a few times at this point that you mentioned fanboying over Arlieth when you first met him, and you mentioned a couple times that you discuss things at Jazzy with him. So
Yes.
I guess my question is kind of twofold. Would you consider Arlieth like a mentor figure for you, or maybe something else, or do you have a mentor figure historically?
Oh, absolutely. There was it was 2007, and I was at Interface, and I was like, yeah, I was yeah, it was 2006, somewhere around there, so mid 2000s, and we're playing an Interface, and Arleth worked there at the time, and we had our run-ins. He was like the first. He actually eliminated me in my first tournament, but he noticed that I'd been sticking around and trying to get games in and play harder. So there was like the first time where he grabbed like a like a little like plastic tote full of tokens. He was like, Duralath, on the machine now, let's go. And so we played. So I was literally, because I was like, dude, like free tokens, all right, let's play. We played like 30 games, and he beat me 30-0. But he really he didn't let up on me. It wasn't like take it easy on this scrub. It was all right. I'm gonna push it to your limit. You're gonna learn what it's like to actually play. And from there, we had always kept in touch as far as like tournaments and whatnot. We really bonded at NorCal Regionals 2009, since ironically enough, where the Play Third Strike It's a Good Game meme was born, because our life was he was hanging in our room as well, and uh, that's when he actually got to find out like more about who I was, and that we're here to stay. And that was a great time. Like our room, I swear, like the rooms that we had, like we had the third strike room, and there was also a floor in there. But there was like a counter that ran all the way like around the entire hotel room. And so what we did was every beer that we drank, we lined the entire room of empty beer cans all around the room that were kind of just like the trophy of how that weekend had gone. But case in point, like no, our life has been I think my North Star as far as play goes, because especially when I picked up Makoto, he would always send me stuff like, hey, you can do this with Makoto, like this is the better punish like that you could have picked, instead of going for a simple jab, like short reset. You can do this reset instead, and then follow up with this. So he's been a North Star. 5-star actually has been super helpful as well for me, mindset wise, to try to get me out of certain funks I've had where I play too passive. And he's like, no, sometimes you just got to go for it. Like that first round against Amir, I reminded myself of 5.7, like like change the narrative, go like try to go a little more gorilla and try to offset unbalance the equation, and that way you'll get your win. So those two have been very important to me as far as like my own third strike growth. Other players, mentality wise, like even players that aren't like third strike players, like Valle, Mike Ross as well, have always been very instrumental in how I play. And then there's another player in 2009 who was an SF4 player, Combo Jack, who had told me something about, and this is actually how I play nowadays, is he was a Sagat player, and one of the guys that was very instrumental in me staying absolutely like not going in, keeping me from going insane in 2009 when a lot of like personal stuff like rocked my world. But his whole thing was when he plays, he says he attacks the player's heart. So, um, Wax, like you and I have talked about this before when we played Alex Yoon, and you mentioned to me before like my Alex felt like almost disrespectful, or like it felt like domineering at times, right?
Yep.
The way I play, so the way I play Alex, aside from trying to improve the neutral that I have already and like all the technical stuff within the game, is I try to attack a player as like I try to dishearten them. I try to discourage them, or make it so make it feel like it's an uphill battle, because you're gonna have to crack the wall. You're gonna have to climb the wall, and it's a harder wall. And the better I can do that, I can attack your constitution. The more likely you are to go into an unfavorable situation.
Yep.
Not saying that that's gonna happen now, because obviously you are a much stronger player now. But that like when it comes to playing players now, it's how good is your heart? Like how are you willing to, like Rocky Balboa, are you willing to go the distance with me?
No.
And then conversely, if you can crack me and make me feel like I can't go the distance anymore and make me take more risks, that lowers my chances of winning. So for me, it's all about heart and like, how bad, like how willing are you to withstand, your opponent being in your face at all times.
No, I
You
like
said
that.
you said you think Ray's much stronger now than he was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck you,
Okay.
I think I remember Ray back then, and I
Mhm.
know how strong Ray is now with everything that he's learned. And I think I think all of us have gotten stronger. Like Lance, I remember when we played. This is my anecdote. When we played the Evo 2013 Third
Yeah.
Strike tournament, it was like 2013 or 2014, one of those.
Yeah,
But
2014, because I've
14, yeah.
yeah, people periodically send. So someone uploaded. So I want to interrupt your story, but the only reason I know it's 2014 is because someone uploaded me losing the cookie, and they send it to me once every like 6 months, and be like, "This you." Anyway, please continue your story.
So I remember, because I was dabbling in Yoon at the time, but obviously I was nowhere good with that character. But I remember there's if you guys are wondering, I'm outside right now and I'm like on the street side.
No, you're
And
good.
there's a guy okay. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Run that. So anyway, I remember you and I got matched up, and I played Yoon, but you shut down my Yoon because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to Alex. And then I realized, your wake up button, the panic button, was your crouch jab. Almost every wake up. I remember that from
Still
back in the day.
is. Yeah, still is. Yeah.
Well, okay, so it still is, right?
Mhm.
But the difference between 2014 and now is there's more thought behind it. There's actual brains behind it. I know you're clapping me right now, Lance, because I said there's brains behind it, but it actually makes more sense because you're not just hitting jab to try to stop me. You're actually hitting jab, and you're actually able to initiate your offense at that point, or you're able to dictate the pace of what's happening as opposed to panic button, crouch jab. It's a very big difference. I remember like that was the year like I think I took like third in that tournament or something. I remember we played, and then I remember 2 years later at TFC where we're all hanging out, and you were like leagues better at that point, and because like you had been playing it alongside Ryan and a couple others, and you actually really learned the game, and so and you surpassed me. You surpassed me at that point, and that was super cool. It was like shit, I can't beat this guy anymore. Like, damn, he got too strong for me. But I keep eyes on a lot of these players. Like I've tried to maintain and see like, all right, where has everybody evolved? Like I can see like everybody's evolution has been constant throughout these past couple of years, and it's really good to see because years ago when SF4 came out, everyone was like, Third Strike's dead. And I was like, no, fuckers, like, this is our game. We're going to keep playing it. It's going to stay. And case in point, like, 3S has stayed all this time. Again, this game's, 20 27 years old,
Old.
and we're
Yeah.
still finding new shit in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about that in terms of like it's one of those things where you don't clearly see it in the moment, but like, at the
Right.
time I felt like like OE came out and like a few of us started with OE and I thought
Yeah.
like we were the last generation. It's like, okay, Lim, me and B-Tran, a few other guys, we're like the last people that are ever going to play this. And so in my mind, I was
Yeah.
always the up and comer and B-Tran was the up and comer. And then we've seen a whole new, at least one generation, come up after
Yes.
us to the point where now we have people like Resolve who I cannot beat in any capacity anymore.
Dude, he's so good.
Yeah.
I can't like Resolve, Nero, that new generation, Joyous, Boa, like all these young cats that they've got the benefit of all the information is shareable now, and it's easier to you don't have to spend a quarter to try to replicate something. But that's just the old man talking at this point. But no, like
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like this generation, what's the term they use? Like they're cracked. They're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, it's just like the
Yeah.
bar just keeps getting like higher and higher, right? Like I remember like when I
Yeah.
was watching videos back in like I don't know, like 2005, 2008 era. Like I remember watching like I tell the kids about this all the time too. It's like there's like spring whales, like Team Whales. It was like Infi and Oppo, right?
Yes.
And they had
Yes.
like I think it was an hour long where they just uploaded casuals of them just playing
Hmm.
Ken Yun, Ken Yurian. And like that just fucking blew my mind at the time, like seeing like Kara Shoryu, like pairing at
Mm.
unblockables, like reversal Genrai on stuff, and it was just like what like you could do that, like, and they're just doing it in casuals. And I feel like
Mm.
now since like the kids get into the game, they start watching high level stuff, and it's like, oh, Daipon, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, oh, if I play
Right.
Makoto, 100% Tosa, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what I'm going to learn. And they just learn the
Mm.
game that way instead of like, that's combo video stuff or that's like next level stuff. I don't need to worry about that. They actually like almost
Mm.
start with that stuff, to be honest with you. And
Right.
like they're picking that up immediately. They're getting the execution down and they're implementing it into their game like much quicker than we were back then, where it was just like, yeah, that's just combo video. That's task stuff. Don't worry about it. Not important. Not important. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Like it's the the flow of information, and
mm,
to like to their credit, like YouTube really helped out because like when we were downloading our videos,
mm.
everything was on an FTP server
Yeah,
that you had to pay for,
I think I
and like
used BitComet to download the old KSK RAM
yeah,
bats. I think, yeah.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
like the
and
Dingeon stuff was on like Google
mm,
Video at the time. I think like pre YouTube.
yeah,
Like they would upload some of the
yep,
FFMA RAM bats on there, and you get like one or two matches before like you had to go to the next video. So
yeah.
Eight
Like I
show as
remember,
well. Eight show. I used to download so much Third Strike footage off that shit. So
oh yeah, jeez,
mm-hmm.
oh my God, the I remember in '07 when yeah that was SBO, so 2007, and somebody posted up videos of the East Coast and West Coast teams for SBO for the US getting demolished, and it was the infamous Keeper Gen video where they were like they revealed, oh, the Keeper Gen, which preceded the Daipon loop,
Yeah.
and that's where Pyro got hit by that because he was like Taco Maeda. I don't know if anybody remembers Taco Maeda, but he's the one that did it. And then I remember going to FFA after they'd come back, and I remember Ken I, back when he still lived in the US,
Mm-hmm.
Ken I was just spending quarter after quarter trying to get Keeper Gen down.
Yeah.
And, it goes like it's like that's how we got our information was, you had to find an agent, like a server, like later on it was like the servers that house those videos. But even back then, it was like our guys would go to Japan and then they'd have to like it's like cavemen bringing back fire.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's how it felt like.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah, it is
video.
a
Like
oh, go ahead.
there wasn't like a lot of video either, right? Like you just saw
Mm,
something and it's like, okay, fuck, I think that's what I saw. Now I have to go try
yeah,
to replicate this, and like,
yeah,
and then you couldn't just go to like like the training mode there is now in Fightcade, where it's you can
yeah,
set up every single little situation you want and figure it out immediately. It's like, okay,
yeah,
I got to go to the arcade. Hold down back for me if you would. Let me try this out. Like, let me build meters.
yeah. If you're lucky, they'll turn the machine on free play, and then you
Mhm.
just if you know the people there, and then the arcade owner is like, well, okay, so how long do I need to do this free play for? Because I'm losing money on this machine, my guy.
Yeah, it is interesting to hear stories that go back. I feel like the further you go back, the more esoteric the learning material
Yes.
was. Like, when I started, it was pretty esoteric. I was like, I gotta like to find footage for Third Strike, I gotta like be on the SRK forums, click on this the match vids thread, and then like
Hmm.
Fran from Italy will post like Nico video links, and you gotta log into that site. And I thought
Yeah.
that was esoteric. But then listening to
Right.
your stories, and you guys were talking about file sharing services,
Mm.
or even further back
Mhm.
than that, where Pyro's like, oh yeah, someone gave me this VHS of
Yes.
of SBO or co-op, or like the first co-op, I think. And I'm like, I'm sorry, did you say
Yeah.
VHS? You know?
Yes. Yeah. It's really it really is a testament to how like the share of information has sped up. It speeds up a player's growth because like and I know like we used to complain about it and be like, oh man, like back in our day, like I said, back in our day, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have we didn't have the internet really to to get all this. But thinking about it, it's like damn, like the players get so much stronger, so much faster. Like Yuki, like I remember, I don't remember, like when did Yuki start playing? Like it was like the late 2000s or some shit like that. And then
No.
randomly on like GDPO, I ended up fighting against Yuki, and he's like, "Yeah, I've only been playing a couple of years, but like I love this game." And I'm like, "How do you only play a couple of years,
Yep.
motherfucker?" And he's like, "You're shoving a mud hole in me." But like that's what it is now. And now,
Mm.
like I said, like we said, the new generation, and how now they're even sharing
Yep.
their tech, and everybody's getting stronger as a result, old and new.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with these. Yeah, no, I think, yeah. I mean, when I came in, I kind of was just experiencing. Like when I met Yuki, he was already good, right? And
Mm.
so I
Yeah,
was like, oh, you should play my friend Yuki. He's really good. And I didn't
yeah.
have that context at first of like, oh yeah, he used to play in SoCal and he was new, and then suddenly he was insanely good, and then he went to Japan, and then he beat Boss in a first to five, and he won a Japanese tournament, and now we have a whole
Mm,
nother generation of Resolve and Boa who are like, yeah, they're already insanely good. I
Mm.
yep.
wonder what the next generation is even gonna look like. Like I
Yep.
can't even imagine it.
Yeah, yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Time to retire,
Okay.
boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Let's back it up. Let's
the
back it
more that
up.
we discuss this, I think
Dude.
Steelhammer was right. The
Mm.
best thing to do is to burn brightly for like 2 years.
Yep.
Make your mark, and then just be like, okay, I'm gonna go play golf.
Yep.
I leave this to people because I don't want to be around for when they crush me.
I
Nah. Someone's got to be the unk that reminds them all the setups and all the execution. They're great and all, but when it comes time to play, it's like Rocky Balboa, the movie Rocky Balboa, where Balboa faces Mason the Lion Dixon. It's like, I'll put you trial by fire.
Mhm.
Like can you like you have all the execution, but do you got the heart to put up with it?
Yeah.
I thought about possibly doing like maybe like a team tournament like generals, but it's like 30 and up versus 29 and under or whatever. And maybe
Oh,
do like Nika captain, Resolve captain, have them pick seven, and then let's run it, boys. Let's do it.
that would be a fun exhibition. Oh, like OG like OG champs versus like new money or some
Yeah.
shit like that. Like, yeah, 7-on-7. It wouldn't even need to be generals. Like, this is 7-on-7. Like the seven most notable players that getting. But
Yeah.
that's also the other problem is getting all the old heads together, like to agree to come to one spot. That's the hardest part.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So kind of pivoting a little bit. I
Mm,
think SoCal in particular has always kind of had the reputation of being very insular, right? SoCal's from the days
mm.
where Lee said the rest of America might as well be Mongolia
Mongolia.
to all the way to the modern days. SoCal's always been kind of its own little thing, and
Mm,
I think, and something that I was thinking about is I feel like maybe Sherwin are kind of the only players where I've seen like you guys have been playing online forever, right? Like you were playing on not Xbox, you were playing on PSN OE,
yes.
maybe even before that, and I don't know about. So you guys have really embraced online, like a lot of people in LA haven't. So kind of talk to me about that. Like, what's been your experience with online play? Do you feel like it's been helpful? That kind of stuff.
I think that first and foremost, I played online because I was lazy and I didn't want to drive. Um,
Sure.
but it was all right. I have money now for a console and I'm gonna play, and it was a training tool for me to play when I wasn't gonna go to the arcade. But the other thing was I kind of got disillusioned of playing the same people over and over, and I really wanted experiences from players around the U.S., which is something I still hold. Like when I go to Jazzy and I play, like I don't want to play our guys. Like I don't want to play any of the SoCal guys that I always play against. I want to play against all the other regions to see like, okay, how do you guys behave? Like how do you guys respond to the situation as opposed to how we respond? So when I was playing online, that was for me, still is to this day for me, like the impetus, one of the main impetuses for playing is I want to play people that I won't get a chance to play normally. And even then, at a certain point, I'm like, oh, I always play these guys online, so I'm like, okay, I'm kind of tired of playing you. So I want to play some. Like, it's always new competition to me and new connections, new experiences. Which is like, which when you play online and you're getting harassed by Tenrin constantly to play a SD5, and I'm like, God damn it, Tenrin! Like, I want to play. I don't want to play you right now after we played like 3 FD5s and you lost 15-0. But
Yeah.
I feel
as
that,
far
bro.
as far as it
I
goes,
feel that.
as far as it goes though, playing online, obviously the timing's different. Yes, but I always remind myself that even if the timing is different, it's like building a muscle, right? So when you lift weights, you're not always going to, like, if you really want to stimulate muscle growth, you don't use the same speed. You don't go at the same pace every time because after a certain point, your gains aren't as you'll get diminishing returns. That's the term on your gains. Now that's not the same. It's not exactly the same when it comes to playing Third Strike and online and offline, because clearly offline is superior, right? But the way I look at it as matchup training. So when you play online, you're going to go into your matchup, and you do have to modify your timing, like even the tiniest bit. But this is where a player like me can thrive a little bit, is because it's not so much like the execution we're working at, but I'm also getting to see, like, okay, how, like, it's the situations, it's the how well do you deal with the situation, and my focus becomes, okay, without while taking the human element out, like the side by side, the person there side by side, how well do you play and how well do you recognize this? Like, what's your knowledge? What's the knowledge chip? Do you know these things? How do you respond? A lot of it is information gathering, and even that was used against me. Like I said, Nero used our previous matches because we had only played online up to that point. He used information from our matches to beautifully and correctly counterplay how we played in top 16. So everything to me, at this point, I don't feel the need to be a purist about offline. Like, I will say, yes, offline on cab, bar none, superior. That is the way to play, especially tournament wise. But if that's not available, I'll take the next best thing and know that I just have to adapt. And I don't want to limit the ability or limit the opportunities I have to play, unless the only option is Dreamcast Third Strike, in which case I'd rather pull my toenails off with pliers.
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. And I do think there's something to be said for your environment variance, and it's all
Mm.
training. Like, like, I feel like for a long time the what do you call it, the narrative was like, oh, offline's the real game and online's just
Mm.
like kind of garbage, whatever. Uh,
Right.
but I think like online's a variable, right? Like, okay, there's lag, there's missing frames, of course. But there's also plenty of other variables that you kind of just take for granted. Like, my experience coming up was I had an arcade cabinet in my room, back when
Mm.
arcade cabinets were affordable and not $5,000.
Right.
And right, and I just played with my friend in my room, right? And I played online. And so my experience was only those two things. And so, for example, when I go to one of like when I go to a major, I was fine, but if I went to like an arcade where it was like there's a DDR machine next to me, right? This
Mm.
ruined my night. I was like, I can't hear the game. There's
Mm.
this guy stomping behind my head. It is a
Right.
totally different variable. And I think if you grew up in arcades, it just feels normal. Like that's normal. That's the real game. To me,
Right.
it's like it's kind of no different from playing online. And it's like it's not in my brain. It's like, oh, that's a weird variable that diminishes how I'm able to
Mm.
play. You know.
So when you mentioned like the DDR machine like would mess you up or like it would throw because yeah that makes total sense like that would throw off your timing because like you're hearing a different rhythm in the background that would counter what you're hearing in game and that could affect you. Um, Funny thing like I don't know if anybody noticed this at Jazzy I had earplugs in the entire
Mm-hmm.
time
Mhm.
part of that was because I had like they were knockoff loop earbuds so like I could still hear
Mm-hmm.
but part of that was because I noticed like as I get older, like I'm getting more sensitive to sound, and because of that, it's causing me to get headaches because of the stimuli that are around. So using those earbuds help dampen the sound, so I could still hear the game. Like I could still hear it. Like if I needed to confirm off sound, I could, but other sounds they were muffled a bit more, which in turn helped me stay focused in the game and allowed me to play a little bit better. Which take that as you will, because some people will be like, performance enhancing. Oh, that's like a thing. It's like a crutch and whatnot. But it's like no, like, you find ways that are like that aren't like messing with your opponent's ability to play the game and things that will help you. Like I know that like Fubar Duck a while back he would play, or no, even beyond Fubar, like Daigo for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was in SF4, and like because of the crowd sounds, and he knew he was getting older, he actually would play with earmuffs. Like they weren't earmuffs, but they were like sound dampening, like earbuds, like that covered his ears, because it wasn't for like they weren't anything like hear the sound of the game better, although that is also valid. But for him, it was just I'm trying to tune out the crowd noise because the crowd noise has gotten more distracting as of late, and so it helped him focus on the game. So, you know, it's funny like you mentioned those are like variables that you can really affect. And going back to like online, yeah, like you said, like lag and everything, and different computers, like computers' performance can affect the fight, like how things happen on Fightcade. We look at it all as an opportunity to train in a given situation. It's like you're a batter and you've got the donut bat that you use the weighted bat so that your swings you train with that one so that way when you go to a regular bat your swings are a little higher. So it kind of works like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
So when it comes to you're talking about blocking out sound, like, do you focus on what people are talking or like around you? Because I always like tell people like I am the worst at locking in at whatever conversations happening around me at the worst possible times. Like that's usually when I'm like stressed out or I'm like in a like very intense matchup. Like if I'm playing
Hmm.
someone and like someone's behind me, like oh fucking like do you see what happened? Blah blah blah. And like now I'm like what happened, bro? What happened? Like and I'm like playing mid match like tournament, you know. So do you like actually
Uh,
focus that deep, or is it just like the sound overall, just like you can't deal with?
I think I try to focus overall
Mm,
out of that because when I get to 3S and I get to especially when it's like tournament time, competition time. One thing I try to do to make sure I'm focused, zen and focused in the game is like I'll take that 30 the 30 seconds or the 20 seconds based on how quickly my opponents pick their character. But I'll really will just take that time to try to focus and laser in on what's in front of me because if I try not to let those distractions get to me and the earbuds have helped as of late. It helps me like zero in, but also like breathing has also helped me on that one. Like there's videos and you guys will see it like from Left Coast Battleground 3 where like I said, you sit in front of the machine and just take a moment, don't rush it, and then center yourself. Like that way I know where my laser focus can actually go. And I think that helps tune out the distractions of that who's talking around me or what's going on. Because like when Loftus battled out there, that was like the match against Cure where I was able to get the clutch victory. Like I don't remember hearing anything except the game at that point, but that was because I was able to at least center myself and kind of tune out those distractions. And like you can hear it in that video, like somebody's playing like the a rhythm game where they're like slapping things. It's like clack, 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 clack. And I was like, I didn't. What was it? I didn't even hear that. And you had other guys like freaking what's his face, no fly zone. Talking what's good. There and everybody else yelling. It's like you get to that zone where it vibes out and you're able to zone out. So yeah.
Nice, nice. I love it. I love it. Talking about Alex specifically, since I play a lot of Alex, I play Alex in tournaments
Hmm.
sometimes here locally as well. What is like kind of your don't fucking silence? I hate you so much, dude. What is like your kind of mentality knowing like, okay, when I pick Alex and I'm in tournament, I know I've
Hmm.
already put myself behind at the character select screen. Like, what is your mentality like going into a tournament knowing like I'm playing Alex, like I'm gonna have to deal with Chun Yun Ken. Like I'm not bitching about him. Like I know they exist. That's the reason why I played Third Strike. But just like going into it knowing like I'm playing Alex. He's lower. He has his struggles. I'm gonna have to overcome this in bracket. Like what is your mentality playing that character?
My mentality is even if the character's weak, these are the best options for me as a player. So you look at it, you think of like think of power tools. Okay,
Yep.
so a lot of what I do is like make an analogy. Think of power tools, and you have like the greatest drill of all time that could bore like or like something that can like break ground, right? So you've got like a giant like jackhammer that could break ground, or you've got like a shovel that could you have to dig, but like sometimes that's what you're best with. Like that's what you're best with. It's kind of a hard analogy to take, but
Yep.
basically what I think of when I play Alex is at the rest of the time I know that I'm comfortable with this. Like I know that like I'm in tune with Alex, and then at times I also can look at the other like this. It's not endemic of everybody, but you can also see like sometimes in the opponent's face where like if I don't pick Alex, like I'll dick around. I'll pick like Yang because also Yang's like super fun. But I'm messing with it. But at the same time, players would be like, oh well, it's Duralath, but it's Yang. Like, so he's not as well known with that character. So there's not an element of fear that I have that I can use with a character like that. But like when it's Alex, because they know like some players know the history of that, and they know that they know what I've been capable of that might mentally mess with them. So like when I pick a character like that, when I pick Alex, for me, it's I'm not worried about the matchup. Like, yeah, it sucks. Chun sucks. Yan sucks. Ken sucks. Koro sucks. Basically, everybody on the roster sucks.
Yep.
But at the same time, it gives me the best odds of victory because I've been there before. I don't need to think about how bad it is. I know how bad it is, and it gives me a chance to overcome that. So the mentality, and this is something that I think a lot of Alex players need to remember is when you're on the character select screen, your opponent could have picked Alex too. Your opponent you could have, or you could have picked Chun Li, or you could have picked Ken. So by picking Alex, you know to yourself your options are bad, but also good in a sense because they hit fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
You got to work harder for it, but at the same time, like when it hits, and it's oh so sweet. Like when I fought Amir in that game one at Jazzy, being able to parry, getting the correct read on a standing fierce, and then headbutting for the win was like the sweetest shit in the world. I was like, I got you, motherfucker. Like I got that. And it's like I said, like you have to trust in yourself to know that the option that you picked is the best option for you to win. What Even if that option is a shitty character like Alex, because like there have been times where I've switched to Makoto and Makoto was the wrong pick for me. I should have stayed, and but it's things like that. That's the mentality you have to have when you play that character.
It's nice having the crowd behind you as well, right? Because I can tell you, as a young player, I've never
Mm-hmm.
been cheered outside of my own boys. Like, no one's if there's my boys aren't there to a it's not happening. That's for damn sure. So,
That's fair, and that's valid. But there are times where going back to Kobe Bryant,
mm,
embrace being the villain. I think
yep,
that you know and 5 star is very good also at doing this. Like he openly will embrace being the villain because he'll feed off of that. Because at a certain point, sometimes even if your guys aren't, you don't have anybody cheering for you, then it's like, all right, sometimes you got to switch the mentality of, right, I don't got nobody cheering for me, like, and instead of that, it's I'm gonna make you regret not cheering for me. I'm gonna make you regret, cheering against me, and there have been times, especially for me, where I'm like, I'm gonna make you regret not cheering for me. Like I know in Silo when we played, and Silo had a huge, like he had, way more people in his corner. Like I only had SoCal and a couple people in chat that I knew were rooting for me, and there were a lot that were rooting for him. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make you. I'm gonna, I am the villain in this round, and I'm going to embrace that, even though like, I know I'm playing an underdog character, but it's the what do you do then? What do you do when you don't have the favorable situation around you? Make it favorable for you.
Love it, love it.
I'm curious. So this, this comes up in conversation often as far as the tier list goes and the balance of the game. Obviously, they're, as we've been discussing, Alex is one of the weaker characters.
Yes.
Something that kind of gets batted around a lot is like, oh, this game is meant to be a team game, right? A character like Alex can shine in first to one, first to two a
Mhm.
little harder, first to three a lot harder, first to five
Good
or
luck.
first
Yeah.
to 10 very very
Good luck.
hard. I'm just
Good
curious
luck.
about your
Yeah.
thoughts about that.
No, it's absolutely valid because with the limited tool set that Alex has, it really is up to the player to. It really is harder on the player to show different looks or show different options. So a character like Chun Li or Yun, with how strong their tools are, you know, when it comes to like those longer sets, especially the smarter the player, the more that the tools can be modified for to make it work for them in a long set. Because it's just the quality and the quantity of options are there. With a character like Alex, it's very true. The longer the set, the harder it is that the player must work to make modifications to their play because you can only show so many different timings for jump fierce or show so many different ranges for like landing close standing medium kick before it becomes far standing medium, or showing different ranges for dash, or different timings for when you'll throw a slash elbow because you throw a bad slash elbow, you're gonna get red parried and you're gonna eat a big punish combo. So it's stuff like that. So in one game where it's the most random because random's a bad term, but in one game or first to two where you have to condense it all into 1, 2, or 3 matches, the limited number of options that Alex has is spread over less ground as opposed to in a longer set where you have to spread it over more ground, more time. So it doesn't give the opponent as much time to adapt, which plays in Alex's favor because Alex thrives in scramble, and the longer the timeline, the less there will be scrambles because it gives the opponent more time to figure out what's going on and how to correctly counter. If that makes sense?
No, perfect. Yeah.
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 Yeah, makes sense.
All right. So we got some
Uh,
questions here from the chat. So if you want to dive into
Sure, sure,
those real quick. So I took some
absolutely.
questions from not only the chat here, but I posted in a couple of different
Yeah.
discords. Here's what I've got. First one, Carlin Tuck, fellow Alex player.
Yes.
Who to help develop your fundamental play style?
Yeah. Combination of a lot of players. It's my fundamental play style. I can say began with Arliath. Like I said, 5 star really helped me hone down standing my ground and getting there. Hold that was also instrumental in me learning a little more about proper play and utilizing more of the options that Alex has. It's if you look at the time I'd played like pre 2017 and then up to now, um, I was very one note with the way I played Alex. So hold that showing his videos helped me get more well rounded with the way I play. Like confirming jump fierce, for example, is something I used to never do, and now I kind of try to do it now. And then reaching out to other players like Genki and I'm very fortunate to have a lot of people that help me fundamentally have helped me fundamentally understand how to play this character, and uh, I can also say like some of the other like some of the younger Alex players show me stuff that oh, I wasn't aware that I should be doing that, and so it's those are the names that I've named. Those are the fundamentally for me have helped me build what Alex is now. But also, I give a huge shout out to a lot of the younger players for giving me ideas as well. So it's really just everybody. If you want one name, it's everybody.
Awesome. Okay. Part two from Carla Tuck here. Does the desire to win outweigh the desire to see Alex win? And then what makes you switch off Alex during a tournament?
So yes and yes. The desire to win, like I did warn a lot of, like when I was walking back with Benka the night before the finals, I did warn them. I was like, I know we're Alex Army here, but there may be a moment where I will need to try Makoto if something's not working. As a player, as a player, I understand like for me, like yeah, as I am not tied to Alex
Mm-hmm.
like fully anymore. I don't everybody ties me to Alex, but I've always felt that as a player, like it's even for me between Alex and Makoto because I've had success with both. Uh, that being said, wanting to see Alex win does weigh out sometimes. Like in past Jazzies, for me it was always I'm gonna go out on my shield. Like I'll win, I'll come back, or I'll like die on my shield with Alex like that. I think nowadays, the desire to win, it's, yeah, like I want to win, and I'm not gonna lie about that. But at the same
Yep.
time, I've really reconnected with this character. So like Wax, when we talked in 2024
Mm-hmm.
about like I might switch to Makoto after this, and you told me to play with her as a you use her in tournaments, uh, for a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I got engaged, and I never did that.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing wrong with that, by the way. But that being said, you know, I look at it as either or are the choices for me to that I can go. I'll play either Alex, I'll play Makoto,
Mm-hmm.
but I can lean on the fact that I have a history with Alex that allows me to play in a way that I don't have with Makoto, where I can overwhelm certain players or certain matchups with certain tools Makoto has. That being said, as a player, I'm still stronger with Alex, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I always tell people sometimes too, like, if you're strong with a certain character, just because you switch to Chun Li doesn't mean you're gonna win, right? Like sometimes
Exactly.
your mindset and your play style is tied to that specific character, and that's why you're winning.
Mm-hmm.
Versus just like, oh, I'm losing because I'm playing a low tier, and if I pick Chun Li or Yan or Ken, I'm winning every single tournament and everyone's free. Like that's not necessarily
Exactly.
the reality. Sometimes your brain is just structured to think like, okay, like this is what works for me with this character, and this is what I'm good at, and this is what I can excel with.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. It's the reason why a lot of Makoto players say I'm not playing Makoto. I'm playing Alex with
Yeah.
Makoto's tools.
Yeah, and I
That's
tell a
yeah.
lot of people that sometimes too. It's like, yeah, your Ken may be very good, but like I can tell you're this player. You're just like using that character with
Mhm.
you. So,
Exactly.
awesome. Okay, Wolfrain says, ask Duralath to tell us where he got all that drip from. I will say, at tournaments, you're probably the most well dressed there. I think maybe you and Yogurt both got
Yeah,
hella good
yogurt
style.
definitely.
So tell us about your style. Do you like dressing up for tournaments, or is it just the everyday Duralath for you?
Yes and yes. So I, I've painstakingly wanted to prove to the world that there's no difference between anybody who's like into geeky pursuits,
Mm-hmm.
that you can still dress cool and you can still look good. Like I've really stressed taking care of yourself, like hygiene and then also health. And as far as like drip goes, I'm very fortunate that I've made friends with a lot of different brands. Like the pants I was wearing on Saturday, they were from this brand Schwa. So I was able to do a little bit of modeling for them because connections I've had. So I was blessed to earn like they gave me the pants at the end of the day because they were like, yeah, dude, you can grab a couple items from our rack. And then other brands like I love wearing stuff that's that shows nerdy like a nerdy side of me, but I also try to make sure that you know I'm a fan of what I'm wearing. Like the shawl, like the like long coat that I was wearing at the finals was just this thing off of Amazon that looked like Sung Jin Woo from Solo Leveling. So I was like, and it helps me like feel comfortable because like, all right, as a kid, it's like I would idolize certain characters, and that gives me a mentality of how I want to operate. But the clothes make me feel good, and it always if I'm feeling good, then I know I play better. Like I don't know if anybody notices this, but every Jazzy, there's one thing I try to have a statement piece that sends like gives me a message. Like 2024, I'm wearing a Roman Reigns T-shirt, greatness on a different level mode, which is the God mode T-shirt, or like well no that was 23, that was 2023. 2024, I had a shirt that said Conquer on it, right? And 2022 Jazzy, the year that it was in Texas, and it was like absurdly hot out there, so everyone was wearing tank tops. So the tank top I had was a Roman Reigns tank top that said "Wreck everyone and leave." So this year it wasn't the shirt, but it was the shoes. It was a pair of Kobe's that I was given for my 40th birthday. Yeah, again, like I wish I could afford all this shit. Like some of it I bought, but a lot of it was like I'm very blessed with friends that to help take care of me over the years. But you find things. Basically, the point is find things that you feel represent you and be proud to wear them. And it's okay if it's like nerdy stuff because, dude, nerds are fucking awesome, and be proud of it.
Love it.
Can
Next
we get
question.
Ray? Can we get Ray a modeling career?
No, dude. That,
Nice.
that was never an option for me, and that ship has definitely set sail. I can tell you that much,
Hey, hey,
dude.
the hats. I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna create a line of Third Strike cowboy hats,
That's
and
right.
that's gonna be the fucking drip, bro. I'm with it.
All right. Downright Lag asked, "What is a set that you have played and watched that has most impacted your fundamental thought process when playing Third Strike competitively?" I like that question. That's a good ass
Ooh,
question.
ooh,
Good
the
stuff.
the set that I played. Oh God, that's a tough question. Um, I will. There have been a couple of them. One of them was the loss to Gene Wong at West Coast Warzone, where uh, I I froze, and I froze on the punish, and it never came out. So like reminding myself to stay calm and also not try to rely on the big punish. That sometimes the simplest punish is all you need. Other matches that uh, you know there's the match against that I had against Hayao in 2017 when we were in Tokyo, and it's just casual, but like just playing against the big boys like that, like, the God Hayao, and understanding how he plays, you kind of just go from match to match, but you remember certain elements of them, like reminding me like when I played KD Alpha in 2022 and lost in spectacular fashion because like I said, I yeah, Yi was in my ear the entire time. Like, you got to slug it out, draw it out, don't rush it. And I rushed it, and I lost. And KD was also like, why didn't you switch to Makoto? Like if you'd done Makoto, you would have lost. And that harkens back to, well, I felt like in that time Alex was my choice because Alex Dudley, I think, for me was better. Now I understand the matchup both ways. There's like been a number of matches for me like that. Also, God, what else? Oh, like watching watching any match where somehow I pull a very stupid victory that I shouldn't have been in a bad situation, like Winter Showdown 8, where Bisu had a large life lead on me, only for me to turn it around with like an improbable comeback. That's usually it's those matches. But I think the thing I also need to do now and be better about is watching my losses. Once I get a chance to sit, actually, I'm gonna go over the losses against Amir, the losses against Nero, and then even like in the past losses against players like Chris G, where I played incorrectly and I got outplayed hard. Like I need to be better about watching the losses and understanding like this is where I came up short. So it's really those like I think the lesson is you can't always like watch yourself in victory. You must know where your shortcomings are.
Subdoc3292 asks for Duralath. Besides meditating offline, do you meditate at work, working out, etc.? Any other times?
Working out definitely. Offline, like just in general, it's not something that I've added to my life in general, but it is something I will take time to just sit back and recenter myself, especially like on a hard work day. And even my coworkers have told me like, hey, take a minute to recenter yourself because the day I work in IT as a day job, and there are days where it feels overwhelming. So like during that time, re-challenging myself to focus. It's like Karate Kid Part Two. When things don't feel right, return to the most basic thing you can do, which is breathe. So that's it's probably something I should incorporate more into life, especially as I get older and get more old men yelling at clouds. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Two questions from me actually. So I put these down
Sure,
here. So,
sure.
I know you're pretty
Yeah.
active in the Alex server. Who are the up and coming Alex players you got your eyes on?
Oh God, like there's a bunch of you jokers out there. Karlantic has been pushing.
Mm.
Jazz, Sock. I know Cooper's been dropping R as well, and they're all playing. It's I know there's a couple of them that are actually like, and I feel bad because like I don't want to like not name somebody because
Mm.
like all of everybody who's in that server is deserving of praise because you're playing you're there for a character that sucks stocky dick, but uh like I know that like if there's one I'm gonna shout it is Carl Antic because I know you've been putting in the work and like I've been seeing the progress. I I wish I could my memory is shot, so like that's I'm so bad with names, but
Mm.
it's everybody who's in that server honestly is committed to working out or at least like learning more about this character and you know learning about why he sucks, but also like how do you apply that suckage so that way he doesn't suck as bad.
No, okay. Second part for me, playing or
Yes,
commentary, which is harder?
that that's like death by drowning or death by burning. The one thing I'm trying not to do as of late is doing both at the same time because I noticed that I've started to play worse if I have to focus on commentary and then switch immediately to play. So like unless like I get a good break in between. Um, I want to say like I think commentating is commentating's like depending on who I'm commentating with, it's
Mm-hmm.
easy. Like it does become easier. Like when I commentate with Arliath, for example, and it's no knock on any other person I've commentated with, but there's like a natural flow that we have because obviously my best friend, good buddy, and we know how each other talk. But it's like even to me at this point. Like they're both difficult, but they're both easy for basically the same and different reasons. It's kind of just a day to day thing.
I hear it. Commentary, I feel is like I know a lot of commentators get hated on quite a bit, but it's like it's
Mhm.
difficult. It's really difficult. Because I mean, you got to think like when you're playing for a short amount of time, and that's it. And commentary is like,
Right.
and it can be hard sometimes, especially if you're commentating like matches that maybe aren't the best of quality. You have to
Hmm.
keep it interesting, and then also like yeah, your dance partner if you're doing commentating with can also be another challenge, right? Like I do commentary a lot at our locals and things like that, and it's a lot of fun when I'm doing commentary with my boys. But it can be difficult if you're doing some commentating with some randos or maybe not as seasoned people too. So I
Yep.
will say for the
Yeah.
chat, maybe take it easy on the commentators out there. I'm guilty of it as well. I talk shit on a lot of some of the commentators at these majors, you know. So
So
yeah,
but, yeah. So one thing I say like
mm,
is like so commentary for example like if you're commentating with somebody that you're not as familiar with
mm,
there's always a lot of discovery that's involved and that's usually a time to like ask questions about like you know how like their comfortability like in the game like hey what like you can find out like what would you do in this situation or like what do you think of that what do you think of this like and they're really the give and take there that's where the conversation I think can go to make it a little easier um I really only had like one negative experience with commentary. I'm not gonna name the player that I was commentating with, but I will say that the 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 discussion or lack thereof was telling.
Okay.
So that's kind of mostly as long as you can make it a conversation about what's going on and learn something from it, it does make it a little easier. That if you get my drift.
Yeah, yeah. Let's say you're playing final game in co-op cup, your last one versus their last one. Who do you want on the mic commentating your match? Who's the two players you
Oh,
want?
so I
Yeah, you're the
wait.
actual
So
player, and you have two people commentating your match. Last match, finals. It's got to be hype. Who are you putting on the microphone to commentate your
uh,
matches?
I'm putting I'm putting RKF and Arliath on there because that commentary duo was so much fun in 2017. Because like RKF, uh, he's got the knowledge obviously, and Arliath speaks kind of the same way I do as commentating. His energy levels and the hype levels that he can do, he's actually like it's super good. So like that commentary duo would be fun. If I could, but if I could also throw out I'll throw known commentators out there.
Mm.
Uh, Yipes and Sajam actually.
Okay. Okay.
Sajam, believe it or not, knows a lot about Third Strike. He's like a savant at fighting games and actually understands like inner nuances, but also is willing to listen to a Third Strike player when it comes to explaining the game. Like we commentated uh, like Frosty Faustings online during the pandemic, and like we got to commentate. It was like I think it was like Big Nasty versus Meme. They had a recorded match, so we got to do that one. And then Yipes is just so fucking fun
He's
to
fun.
listen to.
Yeah, he's fun.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, like any of those four would be great.
Love it. Love it. All right, Lance, you want to kick it over to the one questions? The rapid fire?
Yeah. Oh, there were a couple here. We'll go through these pretty quick.
Oh,
Sure,
did I
There were a
miss a
couple
couple?
questions from the chat
Oh
as
my
well.
bad. Okay.
sure, sure.
So how often do you take breaks? Whether that offline or online? Do you take any breaks from the game?
Usually, if there is a break, I'm trying to take more breaks now because I realize I play every day. Sometimes things start to get stale and I start to fall into bad patterns. So I try to take a break and like at least like take a couple of hours if it's like a week of like constant playing. But I'm trying to at least incorporate a day or two where I won't play now. Particularly because like hours are so short for me as of late because of life stuff I gotta take. And I'm trying to like reincorporate working out. And I noticed that it's been paying off. Like I took a sizable break before the finale, so that way I could let my hands like get refreshed and I wasn't trying to put too many like ideas into my head about play, so I could just be like go in blank slate and uh, adapt that way. So like usually like a day at most, but if there's constant days of playing, try to take at least like a couple hours in between and just give myself time to breathe.
Okay. And so and this is a two-parter question. They're related, so I'll just kind of ask them together. Do you utilize SGGK at all? And are there any option selects or technology that you use that have been game changing for you?
I used to try to use Alex's very lackluster SGGK, which is it's like close to medium kick because yeah, there were times where I used it, but I always felt like it really wasn't as good as like any other like chugs for example. So it's not something like I really ended up utilizing. Though like if I remember, I'll be like, oh yeah, I can do this. Um, I think that the most useful tool that I've incorporated is the shine Kara power bomb, which is you Kara off a crouching jab. So basically, like you do the motion, and then at a certain point you double tap jab, because then if you get the first tap of the jab on the down back, and the second tap on the actual back, then you get like crouch jab, and then you're gonna get so you basically hard cancel immediately your jab power bomb, so you get like a little extra range on it. I don't think that's like really the most technical thing I've really used, and it's kind of just become natural. But other than that, dude, I'm so basic when I play Alex sometimes. It's really just, all right, can I, like, what can I do? What's the option? All right, what can I do to beat this? And then I realized I probably should be learning more stuff, which, that's kind of the new focus now is what other technical stuff should I be adding? Like red pairing, which is basic in a sense, but also that's something I should be adding. Or like jump cancel flash chop to avoid like certain throws. It's those things that um, I think I need to start adding more. A lot of it really is though like situational awareness as well, like knowing like if I neutral jump on a Chun Li uh, at a certain the certain timing where jump fierce beats like EX spinning bird. It's things like that, and Alex sucks. So there's really not a lot of technical stuff you can really use.
Yeah, yeah. No one picks Alex or Chun Li for that matter because they wanted to spend a lot of time in training mode.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Wrap up questions. Top 5 games of all time.
Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Marvel 2, Initial D version 2, Arcade Stage version 2. Wait, is this like personally or just like what I think are the
Yeah.
greatest games of all time?
Yeah, just your
Okay,
your
personally.
Yeah,
your
Okay, I'll be real. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, obviously in the number 1 spot. Number 2 for me would be Hades, actually. The roguelike Hades, because that's the only other time I've actually invested in a game as heavily as Third Strike, because I was speedrunning. 3 would be Final Fantasy 8, not 7, 8, because 8 was formative to my growing up years. That's why.
Yeah.
Also the first one I ever bought. Final Fantasy 8, Dance Dance Revolution, because before I played Initial D and Street Fighter, I was in the DDR scene. 5 would be The Legend of Zelda, the original, because of how many times I watched my brother play that game, and I always wanted to play it, but he would never let me play it because it was his Nintendo. And then I got old enough to play it, and by that point, the cartridges were worn out. So, but those 5, I think, are like my top 5 games. Yeah.
Okay. Final Fantasy 8. So that is, of course, the controversial one. It's like the black sheep.
Yep.
What do you like about it?
The story for me matched what I was going through when I was a teenager growing up. It was the first one that the first one I invested because everybody did 7, so I went 8. I'm the black sheep of my family, so it kind of just appealed to me, and uh, just learning how to be. I wasn't a big fan of like the magic or like MP back in the day, so like not having to use MP for magic and instead doing the draw spells kind of like appealed to me because it was like, all right, I don't have to think about this, and then I don't even need to use it; it just goes into this slot, and then I realized how busted it makes the game. The junction system is so broken, but no, also like I'm a big like I love music and I love the music of FF8. I thought that "Eyes on Me" by Fei Wong is one of the most beautiful songs I've heard as a love theme for a game and just in general. And I really love the idea. Like the lion is like one of my favorite animals, so that kind of just like tied all into it. So it kind of just like the right game at the right time for me. Like I still love 7. I still love like all the other games like but like 8 always holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah, no, I get it. I was mentioning a few months ago to some of the Dallas guys that like my favorite Final Fantasy is 10, but I think it's like because I played it when I was 15, right? Like Tidus and Yuna's romance hits different when you're 15, bro.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah, you can't go back now and replay. I'll never replay it, I don't think, but fond memories.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, top 5 movies.
Top 5 movies. The Rocky series. Can I name the Rocky series as like my top one? Because like
yeah, that's fine.
I'm thinking the Rocky series. Number 2 would be like The Matrix.
Oh, okay.
It's all like formative stuff for me. 3, shit, that's tough. Dumb and Dumber. So great. Definitely like next would probably be like Avengers Endgame or like the Avengers series because like obviously when I had hair I was a big Tony Stark impersonator. And then 5 I'm actually gonna make this pick my left field pick. The Replacements by
I love it. Yeah.
dude, yeah, like I don't think people understand how actually like fun and good that movie was. Obviously, I'm a big Keanu Reeves fan.
Yeah,
I actually probably would replace actually like it's a time to like the replacements in the Mission Impossible series because
yeah.
Mission Impossible series was fun.
No, yeah, I'm a huge replacements fan too. All football
Yeah,
movies, like they just do it
hell
for me.
yeah,
Like fucking
Mhm.
Varsity Blues, The Program, Friday Night Lights, like all that. I'm a
yeah,
big football movie guy. So
yeah.
awesome. Okay.
Okay. Dream Cooperation Cup team, and to include both the Dream American team you can imagine, and also just like the favorite, like the people you want to team with, whenever you go.
All right, so like dream team for Coop. So Japanese and American players, or
Just we'll just say just Americans. I think that's what we've usually done in the past.
okay, so just American players. All right. If it's just American players, if it's the dream team for me, I definitely want like I just want power. So Yi and Nika definitely on the team, just because like I like so like Yi, Nika, and Frankie. Like, am I putting myself on that team too, or just
You can if you
That's
want.
up to you.
Yeah.
If you can be on the team, that's up to you. The road is
Okay?
yours.
No, like honestly, like if it's a dream American team for Coop, I'm not on that team. No, I would want Nika, Frankie, Yi. Yeah, but at least like the other two spots are going to be harder because it's like I already have like I would put a mirror on there as well. That'd be four. So Yi, Mir, Frankie, Nika, and then fifth. I would need like a wild card type player, like or I would just put Yuki on there because I want to consolidate power. In the area
Mhm.
like that's a team like I would want to see like strength wise. Like if it were like just vibes and just American players, then you put me on there. Probably put our lives because like yeah, that's my guy. Trust implicitly. I would also put like whole dad on that team just because like he plays so fun against the Japanese.
Yeah.
Then I'd also want to see like a Boa. Like how would Boa do in that situation? You know. And then fifth, like God, who else? Who else would I just throw on there for good shits and giggles? I don't know. I'd like I don't I want like somebody random. I don't know. I'd be like I just pull like some random Joe off the street or something. Or no, you know what? No, let's make this fun. I'm gonna put Niabon on the vibes team because Niabon would also make me dress better because Niabon's drip is amazing too.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
So I know we're going a little bit out of order here. So do you have a few minutes
yeah,
still? Or
yeah.
okay,
Yeah, let's see.
okay. I wanted to ask you because it just occurred to me. Well, it came up recently because Cho was just surfing Cooperation Cup footage, and he was like, "Why is Lance on a Makoto team?" Which brings me back to it brings me back to we you went to Cooperation Cup.
Yes.
So tell me about your experience in Japan.
Oh God, that was the first time I'd ever been to Japan, and it was our life who helped get me out there. Yeah, so like I said, like he's always been like my North Star as far as this community and getting things done. Um, Japan was eye changing. That's not even the right words. It changed my life when I went out there. Playing against the top players, getting to play in a game day tournament, like getting to experience that was so much fun, and it really opened my eyes to the world of possibilities that's out there. Getting to be part of that English commentary team, once they confirmed that I was going to Japan, and getting that experience was, it was a dream come true. Um, my wife also holds it against me because I've been to Japan and she hasn't. So
Okay.
like whenever I talk about it, it's just like God, shaking the fist at me, like you've been and I haven't. We need to go. But no, Japan. I remember coming home from Japan and then playing the players like online. Because we were still playing on like PS3. And I was just like, this game is so much slower now. Like, and I can see like the Japan buff is real, so like you start to see shit that like you didn't see before, and then now all the players like, damn, like I was missing this before. So like when going there and like actually getting to experience the mythical land, life changing for anybody who gets the chance. If you have not done it, do it. It is worth it, especially now because like the prices aren't as bad as they used to be. But like, go there to learn like the story of Rockefeller sleeping in how they let him sleep in like the janitorial closet when he went over there just because he wanted to learn Urian better. Like that's the kind of shit it is. You will get stronger if you go out there. It is not a joke. So for anybody who's considering it, go there, make the pilgrimage. Is like it is so worth it if you want to play 3S. And just in general, Japan's awesome. Great food, getting a strong zero, even in like the dead of winter when it's like super cold. Like it's a cold strong zero, but it's so goddamn good. It's those moments. But yeah, it's life changing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, final question.
Yep.
Aliens come down to Earth. They are going to make someone play one game for the life of every human on Earth. Who are you trusting with your life and the life of every person on the planet?
So like one game, I can pick any player in the world.
Yes. Yep.
Shit, because I would have said he who will not be named at this point, but
Yeah.
We may have to bail him out. I don't know.
yeah, no, okay, not picking him though. If I'm gonna pick
Sure.
anybody, Mimo Chan would be fun because he's been so good as of late. Or I would just be like, hey, Tomi Naga, go stun him, make it
Yeah,
make it make it hurt. Because, yeah,
love it, love it.
Okay.
Good pick.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm gonna tack one onto that just because I was thinking about it
sure.
earlier, and it's actually on our Start GG page for the Third Strike Open. So if you make top 8 this year, or if you get to go, or if you did make top 8, what would your theme
Yeah,
song be? What are you gonna walk out to? Because I'm trying to do
I want to.
entrances this year
Ooh,
with
ooh.
walkout music and everything. So what are you walking out to if you make top 8?
Okay, so if I made top 8, and I've dreamed about this actually. Uh, if I pick if I pick the song, it's a song called "Victory" by Nas, John Legend, and DJ Khaled. Specifically because the lyrics are whatever it is, I'll pay the cost. I'm willing to risk it. I'll take the loss. I'll put it all on the line in a hustle state of mind. I'm gonna make history just so we can claim victory. Like
Hell yeah.
that's like "Victory" by DJ Khaled, Nas, and John Legend, and it like it's the perfect walk up music. That's not WWE music to me. So like that's the song I would
Awesome. Love it, love it. I'm gonna have you perform
Yeah.
it.
well, it's not like you're gonna make me sing the national anthem if I make go out there, right?
Right. Yeah, of course, of course. All right. Well, travel plans this year. Any other tournaments you're gonna be able to make it to? What is your plans for Third Strike or in life for the rest of 2026?
So, assuming I can, like, if 3SO is in the cards, we'll make it happen. The 2 weekends that are before and after that, I'm actually one of the hosts, so I do a lot of conventions. I will be actually, I think the weekend before, I'll be in Houston
Okay.
for
Okay.
SumiCon with, yeah, so an anime convention that's an 18 and up anime convention, and then like, um, 3SO would happen. So if I make it there, like we'll see how the cards play out. And then the weekend after is it's called Konnichiwa. It's in Tucson, so I'll be hosting that convention out there. That's like I think that is Halloween weekend. So
Yeah.
yeah, October is like the stupidly busiest month I have, and it's kind of cool. So
Okay. Awesome. All right.
yeah, I want to try to get some more tournaments, but we'll see what happens come what may. Kind of playing it by ear at this point, based on like I said, paying off a wedding,
Mm.
not easy, but we'll see where the third strike gods can bless, and we'll see what we can do to make sure I can get out there. But thankfully, my wife is like super supportive of me playing this game because she knows how much it means to me. So I lucked out on that note. So we'll see what we can do, but wherever I can make an impact is definitely going to make an impact. And then also the just locally, I know that Don's Arcade they're starting their monthlies in
Mm.
August, so we'll be getting in on those.
Awesome. Okay. Closing thoughts. What do you want to say to the Third Strike community?
I'm not going to use the cliche right now. Not yet, at least. To the Third Strike community, I want to say thank you for giving me a chance to utilize all of my talents, or at least like a majority of them, not just as a player but as a commentator. I say this a lot. Third Strike kept me from as a kid, as a teenager and a young adult, it kept me from getting into hard drugs and partying because that's like all my cousins were doing. And instead of doing that, I was focused on playing this game that I wanted to get better at, and so I love Street Fighter. And now, Third Strike has given me a chance to go to Japan. It's given me a chance to meet some of my lifelong friends. So if you're playing the game and you really love it, keep playing it. Invest what you can into it. Uh, and beyond that, don't let the highs get too high. Don't let the lows get too low. Play the game, and you'll find out what it opens up for you as you play. So just keep playing. Don't give up. Even if it feels like it's insurmountable, because a lot of us have been playing this for decades. You can still play the game. There's a lot of first years that are gonna make waves soon. It could be you. It could be you in the next couple of years that's winning the title of Jazzy, the grand champion. So just play Third Strike. It's a good game.
Love it. All right, everyone. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Next week's guest is going to be Jimbo. I actually double booked this week, so I put Duralath on this week. Next week, we're going to have Jimbo. Jimbo's going to be doing some announcements. You guys are going to want to tune into that as well. We also got some announcements regarding the Third Strike Open next Wednesday on set. So be sure to tune into that. Some big tournaments coming up. We got Toronto Resurrection in August. I think there's like UMAD that's going there. Jazzy's actually sponsoring a couple players to where if they win, they get flown out to the Third Strike Open. Shout out to the Jazzy staff for making that happen. So a lot of good Third Strike to go for the rest of the year. Like usually, I'm really happy that usually Jazzy ends and it kind of dies off for a couple months until we start back up or start talking about the season again. But it's like off season. There is no off season for Third Strike anymore. We're year round, baby. So, so
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
thank you guys for tuning in. Durlath, thank you once again for taking the time out to talk to us a little bit about Third Strike and life, and hope to see you in October, man. So,
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. Play Third Strike. It's a good game.
all right, later, boys. Thanks for tuning in.